baby. Real man. Awesome job, dude. Awesome job. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Oh, my God. We got a champion. Yes. Lincoln, sorry, boys. Yes.
All right. We are live. Cool. And I made sure to turn on the audio this time. Welcome, everybody, to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. I can see that apparently I have made money before we even started the show. So it disappeared on the Super Chat tracker end, but I will read it from the chat right now really quick just because I don't want... Well, actually, hold on. I'll read them during the Super Chats. I'll take a picture of it
there you
right
go.
now.
That
way, I don't want to give... Irvin, I'm very thankful, but I don't want to give preferential treatment to... just two super chats over everybody else. But no, what is up? It's been a crazy week. Indianapolis was a thing. We were there for that one. All four of us can tell by the thumbnail. Man, I don't know. Where do we want to go right into it just with Cup? Who wants to lead us off here? Because I don't know where to start.
Look, first off, like, it was just awesome being out there. The energy, the vibe was cool. And just, like, the museum was so cool. And you know, shout out to all the, you know, folks from the IMS museum facility and stuff. Like, we got to go check out that place. And if you saw my Instagram story, we were even in there after hours. And it was cool, like, just, like, checking out the place. Like I got to see Dan Weldon's like 2011 race winning Indy 500 car just right there. I'm like, holy crap, like that's the seat he sat in. So I was basically just geeking out. And they had this like Rick Mears shrine dedicated to him this year for, I think it's going to stay there for like a year, and they like basically like switch it up every now and then. But it was awesome being out there. And then we got to go in the basement, so we couldn't like, you know, freaking, yeah. So we couldn't film there, but we got to see some historic stuff there. So that was pretty cool. So shout out to them. But overall, the racing we saw over the weekend, you know, like I didn't expect it to blow me or to blow, you know, me out of the water basically. But I mean, I figured it'd be, you know, subpar at the very least. But then the final 10 laps of that Cup race happened, and oh my goodness. But, you know, but prior to the final 10 laps, the Cup Series race, I mean, there was like a lot of strategy racing going on, like specifically amongst the RCR cars. Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon were obviously trying to get as many stage points as they could. And Tyler Reddick basically maximized his potential. I mean, sweeping both stage wins. So, you know, it was unfortunate that he didn't finish as well, but he still did gain some points over Austin Dillon just off of the stage points. So props to him and his team for doing that. Kyle Larson, like, was... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to see...
I'm laughing at Darian's recap for the whole freaking weekend.
I just wanted to get the Cup.
He's like at 11:40. We went over to the tweet up, and
he's just on a roll. I'm like,
it
was like, he's already through stage 2. He's into stage 2.
I was getting it done. I was wrapping up.
Well, Dan, do you want to go? You want to bring us into stage 2 here?
Yeah, help us out.
Stage two really felt about the same as stage 1. Honestly, it was just pretty much like everyone just kind of got through it, and then at the end, Reddick was there to maximize everything, like Darian was saying. Stage 3 is where it got interesting.
Well, yeah. I do want to go back for a second. We'll talk about the whole weekend a little bit later on. Like I agree. I thought it was really cool to the vibe in Indianapolis was special. Now I know none of us have been to Indianapolis ever, right? Or Danny, had you been to Indianapolis before this trip?
It was my first time in the Hoosier State. I had to wait for Eric in the hotel lobby.
Yeah, that was my first time to Indiana, period. So
really? And it was my first time in like 14 years. So like I'm not sure what the crowd usually looks like in recent year Brickyard 400 NASCAR weekends. I know it's obviously usually pretty scared or pretty spread out. It definitely was spread out in this case. There was room to stretch out. There was room to kind of sit where you'd like more often than not. But I still felt like it was a pretty significant buzz around the infield and around, I guess we weren't really by the grid, but you're kind of close, just that area, the whole area around the track, inside the track felt pretty busy on Sunday especially. But as for the race, you know, we'll talk about the finish. I don't want to gloss over the first 2 stages because I thought the first 2 stages were fantastic, especially stage 2 when you had Keselowski stay out and kind of jack up the field. You had everyone trying to get by him, and then you had just guys running up near the front, just overshooting the corners, testing the limits, going too far and spinning out. And I thought that was great. So I thought the first 2 stages really showed kind of the potential of the Indy road course, of NASCAR on the Indy road course. It was similar to what the Xfinity series did last year, which was, I thought, maybe their best race of the season. So I really liked this course, this configuration for NASCAR cars until the curb was destroyed and then destroyed cars.
That damn curve.
And that's the thing is, like, the first 80% or so, give or take, like, I thought was a solid 7 out of 10 race. I thought it was like, I thought that it could be better in the sense of, they could be racy a lot more. But, I mean, we had a 4-car battle for the lead for like half a stage. Strategy that was putting guys up front like Reddick and Dillon getting points throughout the day, making up stage point. Well, he made up stage points both on his teammate Austin Dillon, Reddick did, and also made up a few even with a poor finish to the day on Kevin Harvick. Not that it might not matter at the end, but I thoroughly enjoyed that first 80%, 85%, whatever, until the caution for debris, which was a valid caution. Like there's no question to that. So we can't, like, there's nowhere to complain about that like there was for the Daytona road course or something. Oh my God.
I saw the famous Iceberg cricket is in the chat.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Already started from a week ago.
But the cricket is, that must be the ghost of the cricket.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get to the last 10 laps, or as I kind of liken it to, like the final 3 minutes of an NBA game. You know how it lasts like about as long as the first.
And we were happy. We were all happy the caution came out. We're like, oh, this is gonna
I
be
wasn't.
awesome.
My pick was leading. No, but
it looked like Larson was gonna have to work for it. We're like, he's restarting fifth. It was shaping up to be exciting. You had 4 guys that have stayed out. All of them, I think, except Kurt Busch, hadn't won this year. You had Hamlin, Briscoe, DiBenedetto, and Kurt Busch on old tires, trying to hold off Larson, Elliott, Truex, that whole gang just behind them on fresh tires. Yeah. Like, I thought those final, 6 laps was shaping up to be some spectacular racing. Unfortunately, they only made it half a lap, and bad things.
Now, Darian and I get accused for jinxing everybody.
Oh goodness!
But Danny had the jinx of the day by saying, right towards the end of the second stage, or no, right at the start, right after the second stage, he went, "Wow, this race is really going by pretty fast." We should have known when Danny said that disaster was brewing. But
it was all downhill from there.
Oh my gosh! I see, because I
literally thinking that those combined red flags, NBC could have probably showed the entirety of a preseason NFL game.
Yeah, and then the funniest part is the race didn't even end on NBC. That's how long it went. We were starting at noon or 1 p.m. For that reason to get the whole racing, and we still didn't even get the whole racing on NBC.
Unlike the drivers, we've danced around the curb issue here. Let's get to it. The curb, it pretty much explodes on the first lap of the restart. There's pieces everywhere. And they don't throw a caution. Remember, I think we were all hey, okay, they're just going to let them race to the line and then throw a caution.
There was multiple pieces of debris on the racing surface. I was like, whoa, okay.
I got to ask, is there even a reason to have curbs there?
Probably not to cut, I think.
Well, the reason that kink is there at all, I believe, is because the driver said that keeping that all as a straightaway, the RPMs, the speeds were too high going into turn 7 or 6, whatever's at the end of that straightaway. So that's why they put the kink there. I mean, curbs, I guess, are just natural. Now, there's different types of curbs because those were metal curbs, correct? And there's some tracks that have concrete curbs and the different material.
If they're gonna have curbs, I think concrete probably your safer bet now.
That's what a lot of people seem to be pointing. I guess hindsight's 2020. I know the officials at Indy, Doug Bowles, the track president, they said that they've used those same curbs for 7 or 8 years and have never had issues. now, they have not had heavy stock cars.
Now, IndyCar,
that's the important thing right there. They have not been racing as heavy cars there.
I have a theory, because Xfinity cars are about the same weight as Cup cars. My theory is the fact that Cup cars, well, it's not really a theory, it's what I think it is that Cup cars don't have ride height. Xfinity cars do. Indy cars aren't as heavy, and Xfinity cars are higher off the ground. I think that... I feel like you have to have a ride height rule if you're going to have those curbs there, because I think it's unfair to the track when they host way more than NASCAR to have to change something out that's been working for years for them because of the Cup cars. Now, I think I don't know what they're doing for next gen next year. I don't think they've announced that just yet, but I was wondering if you guys like had seen anything about that or thought of, like maybe about that part of it.
I think it's certainly, yeah, NASCAR should make some adjustments. They should make the adjustments for the track do. I still think the track bears responsibility for knowing what cars are coming there as well to some extent. But I'm with you. I hope the next gen cars, they'll be more suited for road courses. They'll look more like sports cars. And hopefully the splitters don't dig in the same way. Because you're right, that we didn't see splitters digging in in the Xfinity race the way we did in the Cup race. Almirola, I think it was, lost his entire splitter and everything from underneath the front of the car got ripped out.
I think there was a total of like 2 splitters that ended up getting stuck in there.
And Winval got one of them, so shout out to him.
Yeah, how did he find
I don't know. He had to be in the right place at the right time.
I literally said while we were sitting there, I was like, hey, are they giving that thing away? I want the splitter. Like, because I saw like a track guy running with it, and I was like, oh man, where's he going? I want to grab that.
I saw a kid on Facebook in a Facebook group who went up and asked the safety people if he could have part of like Joey Logano's car they were throwing away.
And did you guys hear the call by Dale Jr.? Like, that was like one of the greatest like calls I've heard in my life. Just like him calling that wreck and stuff. He's like, "We got our cars around." Like it was nuts.
We got a car around him, car on the wall.
Basically, yeah,
screaming. Because they did the radio style broadcast. I mean, we didn't watch we were all in person, so we didn't get to see the
they did
broadcast. But that's what I heard.
Like, even the race was trending because of that wreck too on YouTube. Like, I was like, whoa, it was in the top 10.
Well, they had like 100,000 views in like the first day I saw.
Really quick, in the first like 6 hours.
Really quick, for people having a little trouble, make sure just let people know in the chat just to refresh, and everything should be all right. It was just
I'm gonna try refreshing, but it was lagging on my end.
It's fine now. Yeah, just refresh. Yeah, so we got that, and then was it James Davison, I think it was like putting down oil all over the track?
Yeah, now that was like, I was like, oh my goodness, because like my flight was going up.
Well, no, and they put so much speedy dry down that there were giant ass clouds being like put all over.
You thought they were doing a burnout competition in turn 1.
Dude, how many yellow flags there or yellow flag laps did that add? Like what? Like 4 or 5 more, basically.
It was much more than that.
I think they ran at least 10 caution laps.
Like even Alan Bessel was like, "Oh, we're about to go green. Oh, hang on, never mind."
They literally did that like 3 different times, and at one point after he did it, they went around for like 3 more laps. Like it was insane. Now, granted. So we haven't talked about this yet, but I think the track is at least somewhat to blame, is largely to blame for the curbing coming up and damaging the cars. They knew what cars were coming. They should have had a plan in place. You can blame the drivers for hitting it as much as they did, but Kyle Busch hit it dead on at one point. William Byron did not hit the curbing dead on, and yet it completely destroyed his car and sent him around in that second big wreck.
Only thing that I can think of that's similar to this is Charlotte a couple of years ago when they was hitting the wall of death. Was that on the track or was that on NASCAR?
That was on.
I think that's the track, right? Because
they moved it. There's another thing is you could say we need more than just 40 minutes of practice before the race, because at Charlotte and the Roval they had like 2 or 3 practice sessions, and during those practice sessions they moved that wall after a couple people hit it. Like they edited it. They made an edit. If they'd had more than 40 minutes of practice, somebody might have eventually dug their splitter into that curb, or it would have worn out enough that they would have realized in practice that the curb was an issue. But the point is, the curb, I think, largely falls on the track. Track wasn't prepared. Can't fault them too bad. It's the first time this series is raced there. Get it. Mistakes are going to happen. We've seen that at the Music City Grand Prix. There were mistakes made. Bristol Dirt, there were little mistakes made. Anytime these big series go to a big new event, a completely new style of track or new track in general, for them, little mistakes will happen here and there, and that was obviously one of them. But we haven't talked about the officiating. We kind of alluded to it, but when all the debris kicked up from Truex's car, plus the fact that you could see Kyle Busch had hit the curb really, really hard, and that seemed to be where all that metal came from. I think we were all watching from the stands, shocked that they didn't throw a caution before they came back around, a minute and a half later to hit that same curb again. And so to me, and this is what the point of my video, a lot of people disagreed with me, but this is just my take was that second big wreck where you had Logano in the tire barrier, Byron spinning around, a bunch of other cars. To me, that largely falls on NASCAR because, it was plain as day. There was a ton of debris shooting out from the back of Truex's car the lap earlier. How much of that landed on the racetrack versus off in the grass? I've seen various camera angles. Some seem to show debris pieces a few feet from the groove. Others, it's not as clear. Either way, they threw the caution a few laps earlier for one piece of debris fairly close to the groove. A big cloud of metal shoots up over a curb that has been giving you trouble all day long, and they don't throw the caution. That's on NASCAR 100%. The big wreck with Logano, that falls largely on NASCAR's shoulders. I'm glad that both NASCAR and the track then took the time to figure out that turn. They eventually removed the curbing, which was the right decision in the moment. But they made a mistake early on, like they've done several times this year, holding on to the yellow flag longer than they should have because they don't like late race pauses. They don't like long caution periods at the end of races when everyone's tuning in to see the finish. They want to get the finish done with as quick as they can for TV, for whoever. But it continues to bite them in the butt because then we had an hour-long red flag / yellow flag that put the race on NBCSN. They got overly aggressive, and it cost them this time, as it has a few times this year.
I think you said it in your Out of the Groove, Eric, and I saw a lot of people saying it online, but it's gotten to the point now, and I think we really got to this point at New Hampshire with with it raining and then not calling a caution. I think I even made a joke in the stands. I'm like, are the windows in there tinted or something? And I found out they were. They are in the Pagoda. But it's to the point now where you're not asking like, oh, okay, can guys do better next time? It's like, no, this is like the 5th or 6th time that this crap has happened.
It's a slippery slope, man. But
it's like in the last 3 months, I mean, you like every other race, it seems like we're dealing with this stuff now. I don't know, like where do you guys? I want to ask, where do you guys stand on like how does NASCAR get held accountable for bad officiating? Because it's like when the driver does something dangerous, they get penalized. Or they cheat or do something like that, penalized. When an owner does something out of line, penalized. When a media member does something out of line, something happens to them. When NASCAR themselves does something out of line that could, really threaten the health of a driver. I mean, because you don't know where that metal could go. You don't know what those crashes could lead to. Or, a damaged race car sitting there like Logano's was with cars spinning for the next 10 seconds around. Like, do you think there's a way that NASCAR drivers, owners, whoever, can like kind of hold NASCAR's feet to the fire a little bit, or is this something we're stuck with?
Well, I mean, who polices the police in this? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, NASCAR. I mean, this is their thing. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's up to the fan base to obviously call them out on some of their stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that was clear as day. That should have been a debris caution with all of that debris on the racing surface after that, and that obviously led to the whole big one. Logano, like that Logano hit was really scary in person, by the way. Like I saw, like even from afar, like I couldn't imagine seeing that in person.
The whole nose of his car was just buried in that wall.
Yeah, so that was like really
shocking.
bad.
He said that he felt like that wasn't that hard of a hit. Like it didn't really like
it. Yeah,
that's what he said.
Yeah, it looked bad, but still,
And this is a guy who had a wild flip at Talladega earlier this year, so he knows a thing about some hard hits.
That's what I was thinking.
I feel like the drivers at this point, maybe like they're to the point where it's like, look, we don't even have to say anything. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, hey, look at this. Like, I mean, like you guys clearly see some of the officiating going on and stuff. And I mean, hell, like even after the rain thing, I mean, Kyle Busch is like, yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble here too. Like even he's like, look, it's pretty obvious here. Like I don't have to say anything. So I feel like that's the mentality at the moment.
I can count 5 things on my hand, things that have been mistakes by NASCAR this year: the rain at New Hampshire, the curb at Indy, Kyle Larson hits a slow truck in the dirt truck race this year, Johnny Sauter gets destroyed by pretty much a slow car again at Charlotte, and maybe I can't name 5th one.
Did you say Coda?
Yeah, Coda.
Oh yeah,
Coda.
The whole race.
Yeah, the whole race.
I want to ask you guys this because this has been coming up a lot. And it's like,
real quick, okay. Jared, just to the last point on who gets accountable. I think, to be honest, I think NASCAR knows they effed up this weekend. I don't think NASCAR looks at how the Indy road course ended and says, yes, that's what we want more of. I think they see the blowback on social media. They obviously know the drivers aren't happy about when they make these rain mistakes. I just think they've put the pressure on themselves, and I think some of the pressure comes from the networks to get races done in a certain amount of time. And I think that's what's led to, more often than not this year, them waiting too long to throw the caution. Timeliness is important. So I don't think it's that they're not aware. I do think there should be accountability. I think there should be personnel changes. If it's one guy continuously screwing up, I noticed, say what you will, David Hoots wasn't always perfect, but it's not David Hoots anymore.
He was consistent.
They've had different teams in there in the last few years. So, if it's one guy, two guys, turn them over. We need different people in there, but I think at least NASCAR understands that this isn't good. They know that they got it wrong, or at least that they've been wrong, and they keep owning up to it. They just don't seem to improve, which leads me to believe that maybe the actual people on the trigger need to be swapped out.
I kind of get like this feeling, especially because it keeps getting brought up, and it's right now it's mostly brought up by Denny Hamlin, but I kind of feel like this is the kind of thing that if this stuff doesn't get resolved quickly, because it's been more consistent and closer together. I want to ask you guys, and maybe I don't know if this is taboo to talk about in NASCAR circles or not, but what do you guys think about if, the chances would be of the drivers or owners or somebody like almost unionizing the way that football players and teams do, and the basketball players and baseball players in major leagues do? Because I feel like it's something that at this point, I see a lot of drivers, it seems like they're so mad at everything going on that they just almost gave up talking to the press about it, except for someone like Hamlin, who's a leader of the garage.
I was going to say, I remember, I think it was Bob Pockris asked, I think it was Hamlin. This was a few weeks ago. This was during the next gen safety rumors when there were, talks about whether or not the crash test had been successful and things like that. I believe he asked Hamlin. If it wasn't Hamlin, it was another veteran like a Keselowski or a Harvick or a Kyle Busch. It was someone like that of that era. And he asked him about whether or not the driver council, which I guess has not existed for a few years now, that's sort of disintegrated, asked if something like that should come back. Whoever it was, whether I think it was Hamlin, I don't know. He seemed like he didn't think that was necessarily going to be helpful. Like, it was weird because you're right, Jared. He's been probably the most vocal in talking about, all the different problems. We need our voices to be heard. NASCAR's not listening to us. Talk to the drivers. We'll help. And then when it actually came down to would something like the Drivers' Council be helpful, he was more like, I don't really know. So I don't know. That's a good question. It sounds like that has been brought up, but I don't know that it's something anyone's really that close to doing. What are your thoughts, Danny?
So my thoughts to that is, what good is it going to do to bring a Drivers' Council? If it's, no offense, if it's being run by NASCAR, it's probably going to be just as good, if not worse, than the fan council that I feel is a staged, set up kind of council.
Well, I do think the difference, the fan council, they're being fed questions. It's very structured by NASCAR. I think if NASCAR helps
who's to say they wouldn't do this to drivers too? Put them in a situation where,
Yeah, where it feels some type of agenda.
I think that you only have 30 or 40 drivers as opposed to like 30,000 fans. I don't think that they can talk to them more on an individual basis than fans. Because there's less of them. I think. I think it's possible.
I'm not thinking.
Now, will they listen to the drivers? That's another question.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point of starting a drivers' council if the drivers aren't going to be listened to? Like,
I'm not thinking of a repeat of the drivers' council. I'm saying like if they actually formed a drivers union the way the NFLPA is or something like that.
No. Well, if that's the case.
Not something NASCAR sets up, something the drivers themselves set up.
Well, if the drivers band together and set it up, then then certainly a possibility where it can get NASCAR's attention where it's like, hey, damn, they started their own thing and stuff. But again, I feel like NASCAR, I don't know if they necessarily like that. However, I don't really think so.
I'm not saying I'm advocating for it either, just that it could be on the table.
Yeah, of course. I feel like it could be. Sure, I don't know that we'd see something like that, just because every driver's situation in NASCAR is so different. Again, same in the NFL. There are players that get paid $30 million a year, guys that get paid maybe $1 million a year. That's the same thing there. But in NASCAR, there's so few, and they all talk to each other already. They're all so close. To get all 30 or 40 or 50, however many drivers you need, to get those drivers to all agree on something like that, I do feel like would be difficult. But when you talk about like team owners coming together, or there's the race team alliance, but I don't know if that's something they're capable of actually doing, is like being a collective negotiator with NASCAR. I don't know if that's even in their repertoire, but yeah, we'll see. I think ultimately NASCAR knows they're getting these wrong. I don't think they're trying to screw drivers over. I just think they're being overly aggressive, and I think it comes down to pressure from the TV networks more than anything, plus some pressure I think they put on themselves. NASCAR, we know they're very sensitive. They want to maximize viewership, maximize attendance, maximize ratings. When they get a good day of ratings or a good day of viewership or attendance, they brag about it, they talk about it, they pipe
and
it up.
Especially for these new facilities, these new tracks that they're going to, like they want to obviously showcase the best of their product and all that stuff, but sometimes they can go overboard with some of these calls, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now there was, I think we've went over pretty in depth of the bad of the finish. There was still a good part. AJ Almandinger got a win.
Dinger to ringer.
Colleague Racing is their Cup Series. Like, it's good to see AJ win again, because his first career win was obviously memorable, but then the whole backstory to that day was yeah, he won, but the whole stuff that transpired before the race. I mean, if you remember that day, what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like it basically sort of low key, it did overshadow his win to an extent, and it's good to, he finally got another win to back up his first one. And it was at Indy too, because he raced in Champ Car for years, and they never got to race in Indy.
I remember Jarrett said something to me. It's like, I wonder if he's gonna give that to one of those kids. And I was like, heck no, he's only got 2 of those bad boys. He ain't giving that up.
And just some of his quotes, man. But like, dude, and this team, you can tell they're like really close. I mean, really, really close.
You saw Matt Collig like climbing, like laying on top of AJ Allmendinger on top of the bridge.
They are close.
I love. Did you guys see David Siegel's TikTok?
I thought that was Chris Rice who did that.
I think it was Chris Rice. Did y'all see Davey Siegel's TikTok? At the end, it was like
it's the best one.
It was like Chris Rice saying like bring it home, or no, what did he saying? I don't remember what he said, but I love it cuts to Matt Collig like kiss me.
That's right.
Very close.
I think his thing went. AJ says like, "We're about to kiss some bricks," and then AJ's like,
"Don't
kiss me."
No,
you're about to kiss me.
I'm sorry. That's if people at home, if you've watched the end of the third Lord of the Rings, like the celebration after that reminded me of the last 30 minutes of that movie. Like if you know, you know. No, it is that, and just everyone's jumping on each other and hugging each other, and it's like
a very affectionate team.
I'm also realizing so in 2011 we had a first time winner of the Daytona 500, and then well, it wasn't quite the same because I forget that AJ had the other win. So in 2011 we had a first time winner at Indy. This was a team's first time winning, so kind of a similar personality there, or a similar situation there 10 years apart.
Yeah,
impressive that they've won, and it was just their 4th start of the season, but still, and sure, he got lucky. Let's be honest. I mean, Hamlin, Cindric,
a win's a win.
They got lucky. They didn't have the best car by any means, but it was still exciting. And that's one thing we haven't really hit on, but real quick, we've all recapped. Everyone watching has probably had a chance to see the replays of the radio audio and things like that, but Briscoe versus Hamlin. Do you think Briscoe wrecked Hamlin on purpose? Do you think Briscoe knew he was under penalty, or do you think he wasn't sure and was just still going for the win at the end there?
I think at that point he was going for the win, and in a way I can kind of see Briscoe's argument. It did look like Hamlin didn't give him much of a line. I guess what's he supposed to do? Just kind of stop and let Hamlin pass? I don't really know.
I think the answer is yes. I think that's what NASCAR made clear at the end of the day there, but what do you think, Jarrett?
For Briscoe versus Hamlin, I know a lot of stuff's been going around. Briscoe, I saw, he put it both, I think, on Twitter as well as on Reddit, that he did not get told that he was penalized. And then Fox did the radioactive, which has had a history of changing
editing.
Stuff.
They were editing stuff.
Edited it to make it look good.
And they edited it to make what the spotter, I think it was, or the crew chief, when they found out about the penalty, they said it was Briscoe that had said 10-4, or not 10-4, like affirmative or something that he had heard.
It was like he was asking where turn 10 was.
Yeah.
And Briscoe in his post-race interview did say to NBC that he had asked where turn 10 was, but he said in his interview, he says that he asked that only after they'd already passed turn 10. Like, they were like, you passed it, and that's why he pulled off there, and I guess turn 12, I guess it was. He sort of pulled off the track at that point. But I believe Briscoe. I don't think, if he knew he was under penalty and wasn't going to be allowed to win the race, I just don't see Chase Briscoe driving through Denny Hamlin and just wrecking him out of spite.
They don't have any beef history anyway, so it's like there'd be no reason to.
Briscoe does not strike me as an over aggressive, hothead kind of race car driver. The only way, presumably he thought he was still racing for a win. I'm a little surprised he dumped Hamlin even in that capacity. Like, I get a win's a win, you need a win, but that was pretty blatant. I mean, he just drove right through him on the straightaway.
Oh, he had said like, hey, I didn't mean to. I was trying to go.
I thought he was just trying to give like a bump and run.
That's what it looked like.
You hit a guy and they spin out, it's on you, in my opinion.
I think it's on him, but to me it looked like the bumpers kind of like hooked. Like, I think Hamlin had a little damage back there too, just from like restarts and stuff. And Briscoe, I know it had bent up the front a little bit. I think I think it was an accident, but it was totally on Briscoe. Like,
yeah, that's what I think. I don't think he meant to wreck him. I think he meant to bump him, and it would end up being worse than he thought. But I do not think he knew for sure about the penalty. He probably had in the back of his mind was like, they might penalize me, but I'm going to force them to call it. I'm going to go win this race or finish first.
At that time they didn't call it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I feel bad. Hamlin still has a right to be upset. You get dumped from the lead when you're racing for your first win of the season. You have a right to be upset.
One of the biggest unfortunates from this group of people is that if Briscoe won, I would have won about $215. I think Jarrett would have won about $500. But because AJ won, we both won like $105.
I got 110. I got 110.
Yeah, rich people problems.
Still got some money. I still got some money.
I was happy at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I only won $100.
Yeah. No, I didn't win any money. I put $8 worth of DraftKings bets and I didn't win any.
It's like
put zero in, got zero out.
Like Rusty says in the chat, just try to rattle his cage though.
And it was good seeing Rusty down there too.
Good to see him. I ain't seen him since Daytona 2019.
He was down with his motorsports skier and people and all that stuff.
No, Daytona 2020. I haven't seen him since then.
So AJ was not playoff eligible, so that didn't really change too much on the cut line there. But the cut line has changed a little bit with 2 races remaining in the regular season.
Well, that's 15 different winners this year, correct?
I gotta ask it if somehow
14.
14, gotcha.
If things had been different and Briscoe not get penalized and he could have somehow won that race, how angry would Hamlin have been?
Oh, he'd punched him.
He would.
I don't think Hamlin would have been as mad. I think he's more upset that neither of them won. That's kind of how it is. If you're gonna wreck me, go win the race. If you screw me over and you still don't even win, that would make me even more. I think that's why he was upset, because he thought Briscoe knew he was under penalty. He thought he wrecked him out of spite.
I know I'm just playing here with the buts and what if, but if Briscoe had have won, then theoretically Hamlin still wouldn't have been safe for the playoffs.
That's what I'm thinking there.
Yes, that's true,
but looking at the playoffs right now, so Hamlin is in now because of not having a different playoff eligible winner win.
Still hasn't won a race, so he got it straight up on points. It's crazy.
So the cutoff line right now: Kevin Harvick's plus 95, Reddick plus 28, Austin Dillon minus 28, and the rest are irrelevant because they cannot make it in off points at this point.
Yeah.
Do we see any change coming into Michigan? Like, what's the outlook here? Because I think Reddick pretty much helped himself.
Yeah, look, Michigan, I'm going to consider this as a wild card race just based on, the package and some of the races last year. I mean, you've seen these restarts. So I don't know, I feel like Reddick, has a pretty good opportunity to maximize, his points day, this week as well. I feel like he'll be one of those wild card drivers that'll really run up front for most of the day. We'll see.
I think Reddick is going to continue to extend his gap, and it just comes down to, does somebody further back win? Does DiBenedetto win? I think Fords are always fast here. Penske cars and affiliates are usually fast here as well. Does someone like that steal a win? Otherwise, I think Reddick's going to keep driving away.
Because at this point, you should really be focusing on trying to pass Kevin Harvick, because, you go into Daytona, he'll be on that cut line, and it's like, hey, anybody can win. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's going to take a lot of points, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
I think someone who's already got a win will win this one. So I think your real unpredictability for Reddick. Reddick's either going to have to drive really safe at Daytona or drive like a madman, whatever he wants to do.
we've seen him drive like a madman in this race before, so I wouldn't put it past him.
It was fun in person.
Right.
But looking at how many people have seen this past week's race, ratings were not good. There's some reasoning. We'll get into that, but at the same time, still not fun to look at when it's not good. But it had a 1.8 rating, 2.831 million viewers, which means it's down 35% from the Brickyard 400 last year, down 14% from this weekend last year that was the Daytona Road Course. Now, they had, I believe, in North Carolina, much of the state couldn't see this race because they had a preseason Panthers-Colts game happening in Indy at the same freaking time.
Yeah, so it's like, the people in North Carolina just so happen to have one of their best sports competing in Indianapolis. We got to make sure they can watch it. Guys, air the Colts game.
Yeah, the preseason game, which was like the only highlight there was like some sort of taunting thing, and like some sort of like somebody was like taunting somebody, and now it started this like whole debate in the league about like taunting penalties and stuff. But like like nobody could really see the race though, unfortunately.
I guess they got to see who's their really good running back, like Christian McCaffrey or what's his name.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, and he's like the only like Panther I can really name nowadays.
Yeah.
Getting back to the ratings, getting back to the number for just a second. It's not far off from what the Brickyard. It's pretty close. It's within like 100,000 viewers, I believe, from what the Brickyard 400 was in 2019, which was on a similar weekend, also on NBC. So I do think, and I hate to always like qualify whether the ratings are good. We're like, oh, but there was this. Ratings are bad. Oh, but this. But I think in this case, a rare instance where at least two of NASCAR's biggest markets, large parts of North Carolina and large parts of South Carolina, and I think
Greensboro, wasn't it?
It was Greensboro. Greensboro was one of them.
Dang. Oh, that's like one of their major ones then.
Some of their hottest markets. I think the numbers you lose by those fans, most of those fans not tuning in, probably makes up the difference between this year's race and the 2019 Brickyard 400. Now, I didn't expect this race to get amazing ratings just because it's no longer a crown jewel. It's not marketed as a crown jewel. It's not hyped up as a crown jewel. But definitely a low number. I think a lot of it can be chalked up to the preseason scheduling getting in the way, which, that's not a NASCAR decision. That's an NBC. That's a local NBC affiliate. That's the NBC affiliates in those cities and states making that decision. What we do know is that this NASCAR race, the Cup race, was still the most watched sporting event of the weekend. So it's still more people watch the NASCAR race than watch the Panthers preseason game. But each local affiliate's going to do what they think is good for them on any given day. Definitely a bummer. I noticed though it was not only the NASCAR race that had lousy ratings. The IndyCar race was it like 500,000 people tuned in?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was barely over 500,000 tuned in.
Yeah. So just for whatever reason, kind of a rough weekend for motorsport. IndyCar, I'm sure they were hurt by an early Saturday afternoon start time. Sunday afternoon's usually better for motorsports in America.
See, they usually do good when they're not going up against anybody directly. You usually see those larger ratings numbers for IndyCar races.
I think David Land even put that maybe some of it can get chalked up to, especially the Indianapolis Motor Speedway fans, is that just oversaturation at the track. Because I think he said there's like 5 major races at this track now, and it's like I can get that. But Darian, we look at what people think too with our audience.
Yes, it's time. The poll, the famous Iceberg poll. Do we have a new poll record for this or no?
No. NASCAR stuff a little down right now with that. So we have 12.8 thousand votes only. 43% of you said this was a great race. 27% said it was a good race. 12% said average. 7% below average. 12% of you said it was a bad one, meaning that 70. This had a 70% approval and 19% disapproval.
That's gotta be. Is that top of the list this year?
I think yes, by far.
No,
right?
Daytona 500's higher.
Oh, is it? Oh,
wow.
Yeah, that's right. So
People
P2
did
at
not
least.
like that race.
Oh my goodness.
So number one comment is from 48 Nation. Says Kurt be like, I'm about to end this whole race's career. JJ Fan 7 times says a quote. Oh, you'll like this one, Eric. The amount of bad calls NASCAR makes every week makes the NBA officials look competent. Matt Kenseth, 2016.
Did he say that?
Looks
I don't
like
remember
it.
saying that. I have a
Eric, you're
Matt
supposed
Kenseth.
to know everything the man ever said his entire life.
I'm shocked he
I
said
know
that in
everything Dale
2016.
Jr. said.
I'm shocked he said that in 16 and not after all the shenanigans of 17 he was affected by.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Real quick, because people are talking about the Dingers win. Was it Eric? Didn't you put in a tweet from Matt Yoakum? I think it was coming off the top rope, ripping on 2311.
Yeah, wait, what did he post? He posted a crying Jordan meme. I'm like, Matt Yoakum's dropping memes on Twitter. What is going on?
I know. That was funny.
Let's.
But also, he probably just doesn't care anymore.
And also, shout out to Larry Mack.
Let's move on.
Larry down bad.
Man's got to unleash some demons, I swear.
Got hacked. The account got hacked.
Well, Vincent Odom says, someone check on Denny Delivers. I'm worried about his well-being. Well, I saw him in the chat, so it's either he's doing well or someone's using his account. His account might have been hacked. Looking at some of these other comments here, Austin Higgins says, can I just say it's not Larson or Hamlin biggest threat to Chase? It's his own pit crew. Did Chase's pit crew have a ton of issues? Because we didn't see from the stands.
They had one slow stop at the very end, cost him a few spots. Also, just that quote from Matt Kenseth was actually one that I wrote in one of my old NASCAR parodies.
Oh, okay.
There's no way he actually said that, but everyone in the
Okay.
chat's like, dude, that's from your own video.
That makes sense. He doesn't even remember.
I don't remember recording that line.
That just goes to show how long ago that's been for you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Thomas Franco says, I bet they don't have curbs like that at IRP.
Yeah.
No.
I've been wanting to bring that one up. I brought that one up in my poll of favorite layout. Let's see. Dude with a nice car in his pick, because I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name and I don't want to say something bad. Briscoe thought, what would my boss have done in this moment?
Yeah, somebody.
That's true. Hey, and Tony Stewart patted him on the back and said, "Good job, kid."
He's like, "I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you."
If he wants to know, just go back and watch Sonoma 2016. He'll find out.
Napa Racing Fan 927 says, "Congrats to the Iceberg. The Brickyard is dead in NASCAR." Then he said, "Bring back IRP 2022." Let's see what else we got. NASCAR Bros says, "Best race of the year, hands down." Okay.
Big AJ fan.
Cole says, "I'm a Denny Hamlin fan. That's all I got to say."
Poor guy. At least he's in the playoffs. At least he's then, At least he's locked in.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Let's scroll further down, see a few of these lower comments before we get to the last one. I'm not going to read that, but it was a funny one. Gur says, he says they need to ditch the ramps and metal curbs. Then set in concrete curbs and big rumble strips. That way, if a race car goes over the curbs, the penalty would be the damage to the underside of the car, and the track limits would be self-enforcing. That was one I saw.
The biggest error this weekend.
Xfinity. Those cars in Xfinity got major.
Who was it? Who in the Indy car was it? No, not in the Indy car race. No, who was it in the Xfinity race that?
All four wheels. That was Harrison Burton,
right?
I think.
It was wasn't it like Chris Wright?
He did that too. There was a lot of guys who did that.
Popped a wheelie.
And then at one point there were 4 cars in a row that basically
in
all
the cup,
jumped.
Yeah, in the cup race. That
chat, you guys vote.
Xfinity too.
Vote in the chat. Who got the biggest error this weekend?
Yeah. It seemed like everybody got major.
And then Corey LaJoy got some good air too.
This is a question we can answer from, I think, is Deekers or Deesers. Says, did Bubba get penalized for cutting the track? I didn't think the broadcast mentioned it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
They didn't mention it on TV. Alan Bestwick mentioned it.
Yeah, Danny
Bestwick
did it. Alan Bestwick.
He keeps us informed.
Thank you. Him and Jamie Little were pretty good all week.
Let's get down to that last one. We had almost 600 comments this week, so you can tell a lot of people had a lot to say about it. I'm gonna hold. I did not vet this thing yet, so I'm gonna make sure that we're good to go. Okay, this is from Harley Ray. Positive or negative?
I'm gonna say positive. I don't know why. Positive.
Yeah, it's got to be positive. Harley Ray. That sounds like a real pleasant name.
Negative.
The race was boring. At least the oval has no curbs that break up throughout the race. NASCAR should have ended this during the first red flag. Once again, NBC does not care about broadcasting races and screws the fans who don't have cable or Peacock. This was not a good day for racing.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about it after the show. Never mind. I'll just say that unrelated. Not gonna kill the momentum we're on right now. But yeah, there you go. All right.
But thank you all for voting in the poll this week. I'm hoping I can get it out in time. But being at the track in Michigan, it's very spotty out there. So
I will try my best to make him do that since I'll be there with him.
He'll be literally right over my shoulder and be like, "Put the damn poll out." He'll be like, yeah. But yes, thank you all for voting. Darian, do your thing about.
And that'll conclude the famous Iceberg poll.
It was the pause. That's what I was.
You don't remember how you do it?
God, I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm so
Does he do
tired
it
today.
for the end of the poll?
No, I don't
Yeah.
think so. I don't do it.
I think Darian was yawning earlier. He's tired.
Yeah, I'm a little tired. But
So-
do I say something after I'm like, hey, that'll conclude the poll already?
You just go again.
And the poll's over.
Well, really quick, we have the Xfinity race as well. There wasn't as much that happened in this one, but
No, we can get through this one pretty quick because we have a lot of other really interesting.
but
Everyone
I
wants to
think-
get to our Jeremy Mayfield interview soon.
Hey,
There's
the
two big
poor
parts.
the poor 39 of Ryan Sieg, like that was one of the worst. Like,
Like a
dude, he
three-part.
kept spinning out, man, and he kept spinning out, and then all of a sudden his tire combusted, and then apparently his crew chief got suspended. What, 4 races apparently?
That's why he got
And
fired.
then-
It looks
and then-
like.
Or
They-
fire.
They basically said, "I don't care. Get out. Don't ever come back."
Yikes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Well-
and so we have two big things to talk about. One, well, okay, Cindric won, shocker.
Yeah.
Good job, Danny. So the thing that struck us from the stands, Eric, Darian, Jake, and myself, was how horrible Ty Gibbs' pit strategy was at the end there. Like that was
Yeah.
awful.
What was Chris Gale doing there, Eric? I mean, like that's your boy there, and like
No, he's not my boy. Ty Gibbs is my boy.
Hey, man.
Chris Gale ruined Eric Jones's Gibbs'
Just-
future. Now he's screwing with Ty Gibbs.
Just straight up gambling. I was like, "Hey, we did this. We won 3 times already. You want to try something new?"
yeah.
I just didn't get it because he'd driven back up. He was up at around like 9th or 10th place. He basically had the choice between restarting 9th or 10th on equal tires or restarting first with much worse tires and apparently nowhere near enough fuel to make it to the end while everyone else was in their window. What is like the first rule of crew chiefing? If your window is open to make it to the end on fuel, you pit. And they didn't, so I don't understand
He
that.
was
But yeah, so-
banking on another caution, I guess. But I
guess,
don't know why.
but it's a road course. There's not that many, unless there's a caution the first lap after a restart. There's probably not going to be a caution for a while.
Yeah.
It seems to be pretty common. So I
Because
don't
he
know what was
pitted with
doing.
what, like 5 to go, like something like that.
Yeah, he was like 5 laps short. I'm like, yo, you really weren't even close
Wasn't
to
even
making it on
close.
fuel. I don't understand that strategy, but what you gonna do? Chris Gale making fast Xfinity cars, but I don't know what the pit call was. I don't know if it was
Ty
all him.
Gibbs. He's a team player though. He wasn't putting his crew chief underneath the bus or anything like that. Team player.
He's still impressed. I was still impressed with Ty Gibbs this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, the other big one that I want to talk about was the one that we had fun with in the stands, too. Chase Elliott, who filled in for Michael Annette again, he taught Sam Meyer a veteran lesson after Meyer
Hey.
basically became a wrecking ball.
Hey, look, man. Look, we like Sam. We love Sam Mayer on the show, or Meyer. Like we love him on the show. We think he's going to be a stud in the future. But I mean, he was having one of his best runs. Unfortunately,
He
though,
was
there were
driving with his head
times-
cut off.
Yeah,
all
there were
day.
some times where he was like, "Hey, get out of my way." And he did spin out
So-
Chase Elliott at one point. So Chase Elliott wasn't going to cut him any more slack. Sorry.
So I know supposedly he's going to still be full time with JRM, even though they've announced Josh Berry be full time.
That'll be
car,
that'll be fun to watch.
which I guess originally everyone thought that it was already a set in stone deal that Sam was getting the 8 car next year. That just goes to show that, hey, depending on your performance, things can change. And,
Oh no,
Well, we'll
he's
get to that.
he's
We'll
still
get
in the
to
8
that.
car next year.
Yeah.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about that.
We'll
well,
get
no,
to that.
I thought they said
we'll get
Berry's
to
got
it.
that car. Okay.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
But the Xfinity Series is 5 races away from the playoffs right now, and it is tightened up at the cut line. Brandon Jones is plus 45 right now in 10th. Jeremy Clements plus 40 in 11th. Riley Herbst is now in plus 10 over
He
Michael
did it.
Annette.
There we go. He did it. Let's
And
go.
Brandon Brown
It-
is
it-
minus 52.
It still does not look good that it took Michael Annette getting injured and being out for like 3 or 4 races for him to get in.
The three races, and but hey, at least Herbst is in though, so hey, props
So
to him.
Annette is going to be out again. Josh Berry is going to be driving for him this week.
So it's going to take a Daytona win for Annette to get in now.
Yeah, if with normal circumstances, is there any way that Herbst blows this, Annette has an amazing run, or maybe Brandon Brown has an amazing run?
Hey, I just I say Annette. It doesn't have to be them. It can be someone else, and he doesn't get it because that might be as high as he goes right there.
Daytona's coming up, and they actually, I believe, have 2 more races after Daytona, even before their playoffs even start. I think they race. Is it 3? They have. I know they have a few races left before their playoffs.
5 remaining, unless I have the count.
It's
wrong.
4 or 5. You're right. It's either 4 or 5. Either way, there's more than just Daytona. Daytona is obviously the biggest wild card. I don't see a 15th or 16th place team going out and winning.
Yeah.
Bristol. I don't even know, are they racing at Bristol? I don't see that happening. But
Bristol is the last race before the playoffs begin.
Yeah.
Well, there's still some time. Somebody can catch him on points straight up alone too. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was this the last road course of the season for Xfinity?
And
do they run the Roval?
Well, that's
regular
playoffs,
season.
But as far as regular season, yes, that was the last road course.
See, because
okay,
I will give Herbst this. He has ran really fast at the road courses. I give him credit.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah,
so
he's been solid this year. Remember, he was like 3rd or 4th at Daytona when he wrecked through the grass dodging Almandinger.
Yeah.
So he has been good at the road courses.
That's the key word, when he wrecked.
Even at Mid-Ohio, I think Mid-Ohio earlier this year, he was like running up front for some time there too, and he got something went wrong towards the end.
What was the track where he got the pole award? Where was that?
I don't know.
I do not remember. Was it this
I
year?
don't remember.
I mean, the only poll I
I
can remember is
Was it
Daytona and trucks, but that's about it.
Oh. Either way, he has been solid on road courses. That's allowed him to catch the top 12, but I think it's safe to say without Michael Annette, he would still be outside of the top 12 at this point.
It was Charlotte, one of the few races where it was qualifying. Charlotte, he got the pole award.
Okay.
That's right. Because everyone was like, see, you're wrong. And I'm like, I'm glad.
It's just the pole.
Well, I hope he succeeds. I hope he does.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with Xfinity here, we can go roll into our next subject here, and I'll run down the main points right here because there's some interesting stuff that's kind of being omitted. I won't say omitted, just kind of overlooked. So Josh Berry is running full-time for JRM in the Xfinity Series in 2022 next year. The announcement said he'll drive the 8 car. Tire Pros is slated to sponsor 9 races so far. The others will to be announced, which that's normal. Dale Jr. actually commented on Reddit that JRM might expand to 5 cars in 2022.
Which that's allowed in the trucks and Xfinity series.
It is. And Sam Meyer is still slated to run the full 2022 schedule for JRM next year, according to Dustin Albino. So where do we start with this? Like, I'm happy for Barry just because it shows hard work pays off. But Danny, you're the fellow Hendersonville native. Like, what's it feel like knowing that your hometown guy, like he's got a ride secured at least for next year?
Oh, it feels good, and I'm involved in some Facebook groups like for people who live in Hendersonville. There's even been some buzz from people. Like, you can tell they don't really watch racing that much, but they keep up the fact that there's a guy from here in Hendersonville who's out there racing. So a lot of people around here are happy to see him. I know when we were at the Nashville Xfinity race, I know you guys saw it. There was a lot of people wearing Josh Berry shirts, so they got really happy when he was like kind of fighting for being in contention for the lead there. So he's got a strong fan following, and there's a lot of reward there with companies who want to get involved and sponsor with him. Now, like, I'm still confused. Is he in the 8 or is he in another number? I don't know that though. I guess
8.
I guess they could always bring back the number 88 as well. Which
they can.
Which 88 honestly would make more sense for Barry. That's a number he's really ran in late models for JRM. So
for years he's ran that number.
Well, the announcement they put out said the 8. We'll see if that changes, of course, if Mayer ends up with the 88 or Junior wants the 88 and Mayer runs something else or Barry goes. Anyway, but no, I'm with both of you guys. This is huge for any bit of news, any driver that fights against the, only drivers with money get opportunities in NASCAR cliche, anyone who fights against that, who proves that wrong, even in just little one-off bursts like this, they have my full support. Because Josh Berry, he's 30 years old. He's not a prospect by any means, but he's won a ton of races at local short tracks in the NASCAR Weekly Series, late models. He's done so much winning. He's a legend already on the local level that he earned his part-time opportunity in Xfinity this year, and he made the most of it. He pretty quickly adapted to the big tracks and was a top 10 threat consistently. And on the short tracks, he went out and won Martinsville just a few starts into his season. So he got the opportunity that he deserved, and he made the most of it, and he's getting rewarded by the guy who discovered him, really, the guy who first gave him his big racing career break, Dale Earnhardt Jr. So this is a great story. If you're a fan of drivers really paying their dues and earning their way into the top levels of motorsports, you should be supporting Josh Berry. I mean, don't have to necessarily go out and buy his t-shirt or anything, but at least cheer for him. At least show him some love on Twitter. Show his sponsors some love. I hope they're able to fully sell that car next year. Tire Pros is going to be on the car for about a fourth of the races, which is pretty cool. But like I said, anything that fights back against the pay driver stereotype, guy who really earned it.
And that's great. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some other JRM sponsors want to step up and do something like that. The Unilever brand, Bass Pro Shops even could probably want to get on with a guy like Josh Berry.
Yeah, I think that would all make a ton of sense. Now, the other question.
I saw Darian wanted to say something real quick.
I wanted to say something about what does this mean for someone like a Noah Gragson? Because somebody had just left a super chat asking about Bob had interviewed him and stuff, and he didn't sound too sure that he'd be there and stuff. And basically, it sounded like he pretty much knew, like, hey, I'm the odd man out, and he saw a tweet earlier on Twitter today where it was like Noah Gregson's job next year, and it was like these real estate things. I was like, oh no.
It's like you joke about it, but it's like, hey, it's like if you don't get it figured out, you're gonna have to find something.
Hey, Dale Kwasniewski, he still does that real estate stuff out in Vegas.
and also, like, Noah's pretty talented, but he's not.
He hasn't won since last year.
He's not gonna just step down to something like JD Motorsports either, though.
Yeah, and I feel like he'll have some funding with him, but I mean, I don't know where he's gonna end up. Like, I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna be in the Cup Series. Like, I don't know if he'll be in the Cup Series at all. Yeah. And then also where he'll be in Xfinity.
He might be about to be in a situation kind of like Ty Dillon, just take the best rides he can for a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
We'll have to wait and see on that, Eric. What were you going to bring up? I want to hear what you had to say too.
It was actually exactly what Darian said. I was going to ask what this means for Noah Gragson, just because that's what's really interesting. I mean, great for Barry full time, but like if Junior Motorsports is going to be a 5-car team potentially, then that means Gragson, if they can line some funding up or agree to terms, or if there's not someone better on the market, that means Gragson will probably get that seat. And I'm fine seeing Gragson in that car for another year. He's in the middle now of his 3rd full-time season, correct? He's only won twice, and they both came last year. And I read these numbers off on my show this week, but from last year to this year, 2 wins to 0, an average finish of like 8th last year, 15th this year.
Yeah, it's been a major drop off.
It's it has been a major drop off, but I'm willing to see him come back for another year to see if he can show mental toughness and resilience and improve and bounce back.
I do want him to have at least another shot at Miami, because he needs to hurry up and win there already.
He does have some potential and stuff. It's just, can he put it together consistently? I mean, like, we saw it, in certain parts in 2020, but I mean, his last win was on June 1st, 2020, I believe. And it's been a while.
It's just tough. His 2 wins in Xfinity are at a super speedway, which, say what you will, and he knocked his teammate out of the way at Bristol.
Exactly.
Now, going back to what I said, like, clear as day, he should have won Miami.
Yes, that's true.
Bad luck happened there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He should have a win this year. That was one of the flukiest deals I've seen in a long, long time.
He's fat. He was fast in 2019 at Michigan.
I think made Eric heard the same thing.
It sounded like you just went, and he is fast.
Freudian slip, damn it.
and did you know he's packing? I mean,
he's packing. Oh my
sorry. Yeah, no, he has been fast at a lot. But the only other thing working against him is that he's I think 23 now. He'll be 24 at some point early next season.
Yeah, getting a little up there.
Sam Mayer is going to be 19th next year on the same team if he stays with Junior Motorsports. Ty Gibbs is tearing it up, and he'll be 19 next year. Like, there's just he's fallen behind. He's not quite. There's still a place for a guy who's a little bit older. Not everyone has to be a teenager, but I'm just saying he's quickly, the spotlight's being taken by teenagers very quickly from him.
But I will say a guy you can compare this to is actually someone who's in the spotlight big time today, Bubba Wallace. He slid basically out of everyone's radar at going into 2017. Essentially, he had nothing until Almirola got hurt. Essentially.
Yeah, so you never know.
I want to end off on this because, from what Gregson makes it sound like he's out, but maybe he's getting replaced with another driver if they do a fifth team still. So I want to ask you if you're thinking right now, one or the other, 4-car team or 5-car team, where do you think JRM goes?
As long as old Johnny Morris is willing to pay for the 9-car, I say 5 cars.
Yeah, I say 5 cars too, and probably 4 would be full time, and then one of them would be a part time deal.
Bass Pro Shops, man, he ain't afraid to sponsor stuff. Johnny Morris would be as rich as Jeff Bezos if he didn't sponsor so many things.
Yeah.
What do you think, Eric?
I think 5, but I do think it's interesting that I think it was Dale Jr. who made the comment that, from what he can tell, it'll be more expensive perhaps to run an Xfinity team in the future than it is to run a Cup Series team. So the idea that he's not going Cup racing next year, at least that's how it looks at the moment, but is expanding his Xfinity operation, that seems in contrast with his previous statements. But like you guys said, I think Bass Pro Shops is around with whatever driver they put in that seat. I think they'll find somebody and run 5 just for fun.
I'm sticking with the 4 full-time, maybe 1 part-time.
That is true, because now if Dale Jr. wants to do his one-off, 6 JRM cars, is that even in the budget?
Whoa! Yeah, that's possible.
If it's for once.
It's Dale Jr. They just have to call someone and say, "Hey, Dale's running. Get yourself."
Yes.
Hellman's will be like, "Oh, you want double the money? Sure, we'll give triple."
Right. Okay, let's make it quadruple just for the fun of it.
Just for fun. Well,
Just
you
for
know what
fun.
else is
Why not?
fun is the mailbag question. And this week
yeah.
we have a question from a fan named Wyatt. Remember, you can go to NASCAR Weekly
Hi,
Podcast
Wyatt.
guest at gmail.com. I'm sure that people will put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat after I ask the question. So the question is, and there's multiple, it's kind of a 2-parter. Who do you think...
State batteries. They come in with, Dale Jarrett. They then went through Bobby Labonte, survived J.J. Yaley, and then have flourished with Kyle Busch, too. Although, yes, they're in more part-time because M&M's does more to the primary of Kyle these days. But they're still with the same 18 car they first come into the sport with. So Interstate Batteries is my most loyal.
Yeah.
It just keeps disconnecting and connecting again.
Yeah, that's what I say.
I don't know what's going on with it, but it's...
See, now it's back up for me again. But
yeah, it's just
I don't
going
know.
back and forth on my end.
Yeah.
While we're still trying to let them refresh and get in, I'll go ahead and say for
You guys
my...
keep going. I'll work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
Interstate Batteries is most loyal for me. The one that I think hurt the most is actually a tie. Both Home Depot and Lowe's. I think it was kind of cool having 2 common hardware stores. It's like, hey, if you want to think about where to go get your tools, go to one of those 2, and get what you need. They were both on with championship winning drivers, Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson. So it's like from after 2002, either Lowe's or Home Depot, big hardware companies, were on the championship winning car for 9 years after 2002.
Yeah.
So it looks like we might be back, but I don't think they actually heard what the question was. At least some people in the chat are saying they weren't sure.
Yeah, I fixed it. It should be.
It looks good.
I could just see on my screen, Jarrett, you got completely grayed out, and I knew we were about to go for a lag spike on the stream.
I don't know what the deal is. It's like every 30 minutes it pops out.
It was the similar problems I had on my channel.
I don't know what it is because we literally gutted all the internet and redid everything.
Is it OBS saying that you've been disconnected, or is it just the stream?
So I'm gonna remove a few things from OBS, and maybe that'll help.
Well, if it's OBS actually popping up with that little error message, that's been happening to me. That's an OBS.
People are asking what was the question. So the question was, who's been the most loyal sponsor in NASCAR over the last few years? My answer was Interstate Batteries. and then Darian.
Mine was FedEx. For Danny.
FedEx was my second, but Interstate Batteries have just been around a little bit longer, which is funny because both have been of JGR, so they have a really solid marketing team, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And the second part of the question was which sponsor hurt the most when it left. So for me, the sponsor that was that's the most loyal is DeWalt Power Tools. I go back to that program I had from 2005. You had the 10 chase drivers like all on it. The only sponsor in those 10 that's still in NASCAR today and really never left is DeWalt Power Tools.
And again, all Joe Gibbs Racing team so far.
That's true. Joe Gibbs Racing does a great job of holding on to their sponsors. They do.
DeWalt kind of bounced around a little bit. They was with Roush for the longest time. Then Marcus Ambrose over at Petty, and then when Kenseth come over to Gibbs, they went back over there.
Well, yeah, they were loyal to Kenseth at the end of the day, but more that they've been just loyal to sticking around NASCAR in general. They bounced around. Bell just won an Xfinity race with them on the car as well. So, they bounced around, but they're still here. As for the sponsor, I think hurt the most when it left. I don't know, say what you will. I think they maybe had a lot of influence and made decisions that not everybody likes. But Sprint, when Sprint left, that was a ton of money. They were paying a lot of money for title sponsorship, and Monster Energy paid like a fraction of that when they came in. So that probably was a big loss.
When they left entirely. You don't see anything from them more. I still see stuff from Monster Energy at the track. You don't see anything from Sprint.
I don't know, because I'm making sure I have as few tabs open as possible right now, make sure everything stays good. So I don't know if the chat has listed this one off, but I'm surprised that no one has listed Exalta off as loyal.
Oh, somebody did. Well, somebody did.
I guess that's true there because they're also DuPont.
Because if you think about it, they've been in NASCAR since 1992.
That's true. No, that is true. I didn't think about it like that.
And then I will say one of the biggest ones for left that I think hurt, because I think it hurt a lot of the party atmosphere, because they put on a lot of stuff at the track, and every one of their drivers they've done tons of cool stuff with. I'm gonna go Budweiser on this one. Yes, I know Anheuser-Busch is still there, but like no one's going on TV and going, man, that was one badass Busch Light commercial. I like Busch beer. No, they're like, man, that was a cool Budweiser. Did you see a Budweiser commercial at the Super Bowl with the horses and the puppy? Like no one thinks about Busch Light that way.
Think about the way that Busch commercials are. It's a guy in a flannel just going Busch.
But yeah, they've tried to create a brand or a character for Busch, but no, Budweiser had a whole lot more going for it from an early day. So no, I'm with you there. That's a good point.
Red and black. That's much flashier color here. I'm a little laggy on my end on Zoom too.
I can tell. I don't know what the hell the issue is, but we're working on it. All right, that should be good. Let me see. I don't know really what else to do. Like go for it.
Running the risk of us losing the stream, would you like to maybe consider going to the interview earlier?
Well, that won't help anything. That'll just make it worse.
I was going to offer. Do we want to shut this down and have me fired up and stream onto your channel?
Yeah, I could probably send you the key really quick, and it could just be the same stream. I just need to figure out how to get there.
Yeah, because I had the Mayfield interview, I can pop in really quick.
That's what I was thinking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's literally every single one of us every week we host has a problem.
It's been consistent lately.
I think it's YouTube. So let me find that. Where do we go to get it now? That's all I need to know.
First, are we off the air?
No, it's just delayed. So this will pop back up and they'll see this, but I just if you can just DM it to me and
sure. It's
just connecting and reconnecting the whole time.
Well, I was gonna say might as well just turn off the streams while we're talking about all this.
If one of you can just DM me where I have on the new setup to get it, I'll send it right over.
I don't. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where it's at. It's in your that window where you have the super chats pulled up. I think if you slide over, one of those windows has it.
Okay.
But I don't know which one.
Yeah, I'm trying to look too. Trying to see.
And right now I'm busy importing videos and stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous right now though. It's not.
Yeah.
Hold on. All right, I see it. Hold on. I will copy it and put it in there. I don't know what the deal is. The internet.
Let's see if it pops back up on my end.
All right, I stopped streaming. Discard delay.
I am streaming now. Like it's green.
Cool. Oh, yeah, it just switched on us.
Hey,
Cool.
Or maybe it's internet. I don't know.
So we're good. Oh yeah,
It looks
think
like
we're
it's
good.
still
it
up.
gave
It's
me an
still up on
ad.
my
Yeah,
end.
okay, we're good.
Yeah,
I
it
think
gave me an ad. Yeah. I
Holy
think we're
crap,
fine.
that actually worked.
Whoa. Okay, so
That's
that's
pretty
good to know
cool.
for the future now. Okay, so that's good to know for the future, so we don't have to end the show like all the way.
That was
You
pretty
switch
neat.
it off really quick. Nice.
That was cool. So
All right,
production
so-
meeting on the air. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Yep.
It just says gone now, and then some say they're back. Okay,
Yeah, so
I'll tell
I-
people to refresh.
I just teleported is what it is because I'm in the upper
Yeah.
right now.
No, it's still up for me. So yeah, just refresh, guys.
Alrighty. Cool.
So
Yeah.
we're back. I love how like some people are like, "What's going on?"
There's
Wait, now
there's
it
still a
says-
delay. There's
Hey,
still like a delay,
Hey,
but
someone asked, will that delete the super chats? Make sure you can still see those.
Oh, I can see them. It's fine.
Yeah.
I left it up on the studio on YouTube, but it says it's down now. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well, we're still up. It still says we're up. So
Yep.
what's up, guys?
hello.
Yeah, and I will. I'll make sure that it's working on my end. But I mean, it looks like it is. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Now the internet on my end isn't
Mm-hmm.
working, so we might have problems there too. I don't know, man.
But all right. Well, we were talking about what again?
This is gonna be a weird. Oh, we were actually we had just gotten done with the mailbag question.
Good luck to our
That's right.
Spotify listeners. I have no
Yeah,
idea what
sorry,
this is
Well,
gonna sound like.
we can probably cut this and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
we'll figure it out.
YouTube watchers. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess next
But-
up, we're going pretty late tonight, but next up we have the lightning round, which is brought to you by Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. You can order the new 2021 diecast of your favorite NASCAR driver now at lionelracing.com or at any authorized Lionel retailer. And don't miss Lionel Racing's NASCAR Authentics collection at a Walmart or other stores near you. I see you guys already got diecasts. Well, Danny has diecast pulled up, but
I just have all mine in the background because I've ran out
They're, like,
of
lit up with-
individual ones to show.
do you have
Wait,
like
is
a
that
light on them?
No,
Yeah,
that-
the sun's on them.
yeah,
Right
that's the sun hitting them right now.
Yeah, the sun's hitting them right now, so it's perfect. But yeah, all of them are back there. I just put them back in my room.
Danny,
Well,
what do you
I've got-
have?
I've got Ross Chastain. I think Kansas 2019. That's which one this is. It's a race
Whoa, that's
legend.
pretty cool. I got Biffle from, I actually don't remember what year this was. I think this was 05.
2006.
Oh, no, 06. Yeah, my bad.
06.
This is 06. Yeah, I forgot it has the
Got the
fusion, on the
Fusion.
It's
front.
got
Yep.
the fusion.
Yeah.
I didn't look at that close. Yeah, it was
I've seen
06.
someone the other day say they didn't like the way the fusion looked on Gen 4. I thought it looked pretty good actually.
See,
It looked
that's the
okay.
fat. That's the fat diecast version of the Fusion. They always
Yeah.
look fatter for some reason.
And then I have Dale Jr.'s AC Delco 3 car from 19. Let's see, I think it's 99.
Either way, it's
Was
a
it one-
championship year.
Yep,
Was
second
it a
championship.
143? You said, Darian?
Yep, 143. I have Bill Elliott's right behind me.
Yeah, among others.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that
They should bring back the
Cool.
143s though. Yeah, those are very rare nowadays.
Vintage,
All right.
vintage stuff. But yeah. So
Well-
next up is the, let me make sure I have it pulled up here. But Darian, oh my gosh, he's already ready. He's losing it.
And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Whoa, I went out of focus for a second there. That hasn't happened in a minute. And what do we have on tap today, Jarrett?
Alrighty, so starting out, NASCAR and IndyCar are in advanced talks for IndyCar to restore the Iowa Speedway
Ooh.
to the 2022 IndyCar schedule with Hy-Vee. I believe that's how you say it, or is it just whatever? Likely to serve as title sponsor for the race. This, according to Adam Stern. Per the Charlotte Observer, the North Carolina state legislature has filed for an opportunity to increase the appropriation of money to North Wilkesboro up to $20 million.
Ooh.
Holy crap.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah. Armani Williams is to take the first, or will make his first truck start with Realm God,
Rayom. I always mess up. Yeah, Rayom.
I think I spelled it wrong.
Ryomi, something like that.
Rayom at Gateway. He'll be the first driver on the autism spectrum to race in a top-tier series of NASCAR.
Cool.
Bubba Wallace will fill in for Austin Hill in Hattori's Xfinity car this weekend at Michigan. That way that there's no worry of... I was about to say there's no worry of rain and stuff coming in.
Their Xfinity car does not compare to their truck equipment, though.
Well, no, but Chris Hacker is making his first truck start at
shout out
this weekend.
his tweets are bon appetit. I always forget he posts his food all the time. I just find it funny.
And usually, like 9 times out of 10, it's probably biscuits and gravy. But
it's his stuff. He's good. He's eating good though, bro. So shout out to him.
I don't know how he's not. He's skinny as craps and he eats a lot.
It happens.
Jimmy Johnson is looking to test on the Texas Motor Speedway oval configuration in an Indy car later this month. This reported by David Land, who we got to meet this past weekend.
David.
Unfortunately, I didn't. But
but shout out to David Land though. Yeah, he was awesome.
You didn't miss much.
Carson Hocevar will run full-time for Nice in 2022, again in the Truck Series, so well-earned, Carson. And his announcement was pretty badass. Tyler Reddick will race in the number 23 Our Motorsport Chevy at Michigan, getting that extra practice.
Comrades.
Cup will have yellow banners and spoilers for the playoffs. Xfinity will have red, and there will be blue for trucks, just like the NASCAR logo. This reported by Bob Pockris, so that's going to be pretty cool.
And yellow just stands out more, too.
Josh Berry is going to be running in a Nets car at Michigan this weekend, again by Bob Pockris. Pockris was on it in the last 24 hours, man.
He was.
Because he also said, and this is one that I don't want to go too much in depth on until there's more detail on it, that NASCAR may do combined qualifying sessions and practice sessions. Like it's all in one. They practice for 30 minutes and go straight into qualifying. I don't really know how I feel about that. I kind of just want like normal practice and qualifying back, but you know, I'll wait and see what the details are. And then last thing, I don't have it written on here. We'll talk about it too at the end of the show. At this time next week, NASCAR Weekly Podcast 400 on IDK Players channel. It's going to be really, really badass. I wrote down a few of the people that are going to be in it.
We got to make sure we're really fast on topics next week.
Oh, yeah. We'll be good. We got some slacker by the name of Black Flags Matter in the race.
And watch me. I'm really good with it. I'm good with the controller.
There's going to be Danny B cars, Eric Estepp cars, Iceberg cars. There's going to be a 5-point car, tree car. Ryan Vargas is in the race. Real Radman's in the race. Winvow, I hear, is going to be. Same with Gary Owen.
Moonhead.
Maybe a Moonhead. Max Castro from the Pro Series or Pro League, I should say.
Hey, Jarrett. I'm not trying to interrupt and give preferential treatment to some super chats, but you might want to look at that last one you just got.
Ooh, yeah. I'll read that one in a bit. I got a text recently right before that, and I saw comments in the chat, but I will. Nice. But yeah, it's gonna be a night next Wednesday night. A little bit of a doubleheader of our own. So just saying, that was the lightning round right there.
Yeah. Once again, that'll conclude the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show.
As always, we have to thank our other sponsor, Forney Industries. Get it done with Green. Forney offers a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and much more. For do-it-yourselfers or if you're a professional metal worker, Forney has everything you need for your next project. So shop their top-of-the-line products at forneyend.com. Link is down in the description below, or check them out at a Forney dealer near you. Look for their green logo.
Where's the background, Eric? Where's the green
I don't
background?
have it set up. I don't know what happened. It used to be here, and then I don't know. It's not there.
You need to fix it.
That's okay. Just imagine a bunch of greenness.
You need to grab your 40 tools and fix it, Eric.
By the way, really quick, guys, just over 420 people watching after that little delay, and just under 200 likes. Make sure to click the like button, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning back in. Appreciate it.
Oh. Yes, and the interview will be on soon. We got one more thing to do. Who wants to put on the timer for 5 minutes? Just tell me when you're.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. We can
Good
get
man.
through these super chats.
Good man,
Appreciate you
yes.
guys tuning in. And the super chat thing is working tonight. Is it, Jared? By the way,
It is.
All
It's
right.
funny because like the stream has the timer going. I know the stream is working. I see everything going on, and but it is paused on my studio screen. But I know that everything is working fine. So thank God.
Good.
So tell me when you're ready.
You tell me when you're ready.
Hold on. Let me pull up the ones I took a picture of from before the show because there's no way I'm gonna miss those. In 3, 2, 1. First super chat from $9.99 from Irvin Alvarado says turn 5 and 6 need a lot of work. Aside from NASCAR officials need more eyes and brains to call a caution. Either use the F1 section, replace the curbs each race, or widen that section a bit. He also left one for $4.99 before the show. It said one last thing. Curbs can't fail like that. If curbs failed in other series like F1, there would be massive investigations to the brim. So
It's a conspiracy.
And then I believe that this is the first one from when we were live from Isaac for $1.99. Favorite cutoff races. Mine are 09. Sorry, Eric. 12 and 20. 2012 was a very interesting one. So I'd go with that one of relatively recent ones. Isaac for another $1.99 says AJ back to full-time Cup, or is that time done? From what AJ said, probably is. We got Jar Jar Estepp, who stands with Jar Jar Binks, saying that Darian needs to give Jar Jar his lawnmower back.
What?
I don't know what's going on. Gordon, the big engine, says a statement about Talladega when the race is green, Express coming through. When the big one inevitably happens, oh, the indignity.
It's like
Jar
Gordon
Jar
from
said,
Thomas the Tank Engine.
yes, it is.
That big blue himself. He's there.
Jar Jar Binks says that Misa Moy mad at Darian used to stole his microwave too, and camera, so he's going to jail. Okay. The famous Iceberg cricket. Iceberg is spelled wrong. Just laughing with it. It's all good. He says, I'm back, boys. I'm back. The ghost of you. Nicholas Gray for $5 says, who's y'all's biggest what the heck win moment? McDowell in the 500, AJ Brickyard, Eric Almirola, New Hampshire.
Justin Haley at Daytona a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one was anticlimactic because of the rain. I don't know.
I'll go with, just because of how crazy it was in person, McDowell, even though AJ was crazy, but he's good, in general at road courses. That surprised me.
I think this year it was Bowman at Pocono because I wasn't able to watch the race, and all of a sudden I get the thing on my phone from Fox Sports that gives me the results. I'm like, oh, Bowman won today. I was supposed to go to that race, and I found out how he won. It's like, oh yeah, what the heck?
Super Squad, thank you for the $1. Ethan Kane, thank you for the $4.99. Says, I'm pretty sure with the Indy 500 starting later these last few years, the double isn't really possible anymore. That's why nobody has done it since 2014. That might be an issue. I think if NBC had that part of the NASCAR season, it would work better. DJ Big Boss, thank you for the $4.99. Says, it was awesome meeting you guys on Saturday. Actually shocked I ran into y'all. Hope to see y'all in Cali sometime. Well, I'm definitely wanting to go out to Auto Club for the renovation and maybe Sonoma next year. Platinum Paradise, thank you for the $4.99. Says, it's troubling that the media eggs on chaos. They used to hope for no big wrecks. Now they encourage it. Boyer's tweet rubbed people the wrong way. I have noticed the media has shifted a bit in the last 20 years, but that's with all sports, unfortunately. I don't think it's.
I didn't see the Boyer tweet. I saw him tweet something before all the wrecks happened where it was just like, oh, this is going to be a good finish. And then it was just funny because it was obviously chaos.
Even NASCAR's YouTube team was running into that problem earlier this year where they were just luring in with wrecks as what's drawing the clicks.
Yeah. Daniel Shell, well, thank you for the $2. I never want NASCAR to ever I never want NASCAR at Indy ever, road or oval. Darth Sidious for the $4.99 says, I look forward to completing your training, Darian. In time, you will call me master. Let the hate flow through you, and your transformation to the dark side will be complete.
55 seconds remaining.
Preston Fields, thank you for the $4.99. Eric, this is regarding your video from today. Do you think the second team on Kurt Busch's radar could be the 10 at Stewart Haas Racing?
I thought Almirola said he's basically already confirmed for next year.
Yeah, he seems pretty comfortable with his situation. I think winning at New Hampshire locked that down for him.
Slogano for the 499 says NASCAR race control was abysmal this past week. Very inconsistent all year. Not good enough for the top sport USA. Sami says give Jar Jar a stuffed Arian. Andrew Meyer, thank you for the $5. I almost in the super chat says shout out to Cole Custer for battling the top 10 all race until the curb wreck. He was holding his own against future Hall of Famers. Good fun. Mrs. Jar Jar says that Darian head. Andrew Meyer for the $2 says these Jar Jar accounts are super annoying. Not gonna say no. And I'll finish with Barbara Smith for the $5. This the question is who's taking responsibility for the next driver to die because of bad officiating? That'd probably be NASCAR.
That's pretty dark.
If that
happens. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. We've had some near. I don't know if I'd say near misses due to officiating, but
Please don't.
Do another one. That was too dark to end on. Do another one.
There's so many freaking Jar Jar freaking super chats. Terrifying.
Well, Kevin Stallman for $10 says, is there anyone who knows a website or store where I could buy some NASCAR Lionel Authentics at a cheap? Go to I'd say Walmart and Target. Well,
authorized Lionel retailer.
And this is good. Walmart and Target have empty shelves, means people are buying them. So just get there as quick as you can. I think on the websites too, they say like what stuff is going to be in stock soon. So
I just realized because Eric's the one showing this now, the camera's gonna be all frozen for Jarrett like it was for us.
Yeah, you're good. We could hear you
as long as they can hear me.
We could hear you fine, but you were just like.
Basically the whole time.
Oh yeah, they heard us now.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't help it.
Is the Mayfield interview up next though, Eric?
I'm down if you guys are. Yeah, it was really great. We got to speak to Jeremy Mayfield. This was recorded last night, basically 24 hours ago. So Jeremy was very, very generous with his time. He answered all of our questions, even answered some of your questions, as you will hear. But Jeremy Mayfield, he won five Cup Series races in his time. He's been spotted near the SRX track in recent months. So we'll see. He might be back in the public eye more frequently before long. But for now, enjoy our interview with the one and only Jeremy Mayfield.
Welcome, everybody, to another NASCAR Weekly Podcast interview. Today, we are joined by someone who I am 100% sure that you've heard of, but not heard from probably in a long time, Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Pretty good. Really happy to talk to you. Kind of starting off, I think one thing a lot of people have been wondering is what you've been up to in the past couple of years since being out of the public eye. Like, still racing? Like, what have you been doing lately?
Yeah, I've been running my dirt late model a little bit, and for the last couple of years, and just here and there, just kind of staying under the radar, just running local short tracks around this area, and I ran Jennerstown Speedway weekend before last. I went there and ran an asphalt race up there, so I've just been kind of not as busy schedule as I used to have, but just kind of staying busy, just racing here and there, just different places, and pretty much that's it. Just kind of trying to hopefully put something together one day. Have my own team and really do what I need to do, or like I'd like to do it. As far as dirt late model stuff goes, and who knows? Just pretty much laying low and just kind of enjoying life a little bit right now.
What's like your favorite track that you've been going to recently? Is there like one that's kind of one of your favorites, or that you've kind of just been, liking the frequent a lot?
Well, the one that I went to a couple weeks ago at Jennerstown Speedway up there, that's probably one of the best tracks I've been to in a long time. And as far as asphalt goes, and dirt track is just I haven't really found the one I like yet as far as my favorite one. But when we start running better and hopefully winning races soon, we'll figure out which one's the favorite. But Jennerstown seemed like that was the one that I really liked a lot. And the facility's nice and people are great, and just seemed like a great racetrack, and pretty much kind of attached to that one right now.
Well, between asphalt and dirt, it sounds like you're kind of trying out a little bit of both. If you talk about maybe starting a team one day, like which style of racing do you feel more gravitated to at this point?
Well, I always wanted to have a dirt late model team and run my own car and all that stuff, but I really like asphalt racing too. I really like the late model stuff. I kind of grew up on those and running at Nashville and all that, and just over the years run a lot of late model stuff. But I like the dirt, but yet I still kind of feel like I'm more comfortable on the asphalt cars, especially the late model stuff right now. But I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out my way and what I'm looking for in the film, looking for in the dirt car stuff, and I haven't found that yet. And hopefully we'll find that pretty soon.
I'm curious. Have you ran against any other, let's say, younger prospects who perhaps have aspirations of going to NASCAR, and who have been some young drivers who you feel have the potential to move up someday?
Well, there's a lot of young drivers out there that everywhere we go every week or every time we race, we there's so many young drivers coming up now that's got the potential and got the talent, and some of them don't have the money and some of them do, but yet you can see who can race and who can. And I don't really have any just like right off the top of my head. I just know there's a lot of them out there, especially when we were in Jennerstown. I've seen a lot of young drivers up there that run really good, and I just feel like that there's a lot of them out there, just a lot of talent that could be great superstars in the future, and just some of them might not ever get a chance to do that, for whatever reason. But there's definitely a lot of talent out there and a lot of good racers right now.
Taking a step away from young up-and-coming racers, let's talk about a little mixture of young and old. This whole interview got set up because we happened to run into you in Nashville at the SRX race. So I don't want to be that guy in NASCAR. Do you want to do SRX? I think a lot of people speculate that on Twitter. I just want to ask, what do you think of SRX? How did you like it?
Well, I really liked it a lot, and I was kind of hesitant at first. First of all, when they first announced it, I thought it was great. I thought, man, it's good that Tony and Ray and all those guys were stepping out and doing what needed to be done, and somebody needed to do that, and they had the courage to do that, and were brave enough to do what they did. So I really liked that aspect of it. But then I wasn't for sure about how it was all going to work out, and how the race was going to be. And then, they had a pretty unique set of drivers that, kind of from everywhere and all sorts of racing. And so I wasn't for sure. But after the first race, I thought, man, this could be cool and this could really work out for them. And then the second race got better and the third race got better. And, I know Ray well enough to know that he's going to every week improve on it and fix whatever problems they have. And that's what he done, it looked like. And by the time they got to Nashville, it was full blown, just a really nice, neat looking deal. And I thought it was interesting, and the racing was great, and the fans seemed to like it a lot. And all the drivers seemed like they were having fun. Everybody I talked to was really enjoying it and, having a good time. And that's what it's all about. Not just having a good time, but having a good show and the drivers happy and everybody happy and wanting to be there. And I think that's what they've done. And it certainly made me want to be a part of it.
So I got to ask, because a lot of people have known that there's a big kind of nasty breakup between you and Ray Evernham. How did everything get set up, and is everything working pretty well now, like between the two of you?
Yeah, we put all that stuff behind us, and we've talked several times, and that's over. That's the past, and we got to move on and look at the future and whatever that brings. Whether I'm driving in the series or not, that's still behind us now and it's over. And Ray and I were really good friends before all that happened, and we seem to be great friends again after that. So we just hit a little bump in the road and kind of went different directions for a while, but at least we're talking and we don't even bring it up, and it's over. And like I said, I'm looking for the future, and so is he, and just glad all that's behind us, and that's pretty cool to do that. And we've both kind of agreed to that, and that's what we're going to do and continue on. And and he's a great guy. Like I said, I never really had a problem with Ray himself. We just kind of went different directions for a while, and no matter whose fault it was it was just bad timing and whatever. But now it's over with, and like I said, I can't wait to move on here.
So who actually invited you to that SRX race? Because I know for me, that was like the first time I'd really seen you out and about and seen people talking, hey, Jeremy Mayfield's here at the track. He's like, you might even see him in the background on TV. That's the first time I'd seen that in a while. So who got you out to the track?
Well, it was pretty wild. My wife was a big supporter of it, but Ray had actually invited us to Nashville, and we talked last year about doing some stuff and doing some races and whatever, going to a couple of them. So when Nashville came up, this last one, he invited us to go, and we went and really thank him a lot for doing that, because it was really we had a great time, and to see everybody that we've known in the past, and from the crew guys to the drivers and just everybody was awesome. And it was just a great feeling to be back. And I feel like we kind of picked up where we left off, and nothing's really changed as far as myself and all the guys. And, just really had a good time. It felt like home again.
Now, besides yourself, obviously, who are a few other legends that you would like to see drive in SRX someday?
Well, to start with, I think I'd be a good candidate to do that for one. But
yeah, of course.
I'm not saying I'm a legend, but I'd love to be able to do it. But no, I'm just joking. There's a lot of them. Like I've seen Darrell Waltrip there. I know Darrell would like to do it. He already told me he would anyway. And he was always one of my heroes, I guess, growing up. And I'm sure you'll see some big name drivers like that in the sport. That's going to come back and run some. But I'm not sure exactly, how many or whatever. I think it'd be great if Ray would. Up the cars a little bit, maybe run more than 12, like 24, something like that, or even more in the future. And I'm sure they're thinking about that right now. And if it's possible, they'll do it. But if they've done that, I think you'll see a lot of good drivers that's come back and run his series. And I think Darrell, and like I said, there's so many of them, it's hard to, say. I'm sure Gordon would probably like to do it. I'm sure Junior would like to do it. There's a lot of them out there that I'm sure would like to be a part of it. So who knows who's gonna be back in those cars.
And I guess kind of a follow up too. You raced in the early 2000s, the late 90s, all the way up until the early 2000s, and you had the privilege to drive against some of these guys. Like, who were some of the toughest drivers you had to face in that era?
Man, it was the series back then was really tough. I mean, every team had good drivers, and there was like 43 just really good teams that could win any week, really, or say 35 of them could anyway. And that just seemed kind of narrowed down over the years. But, I mean, the Labanis, Waltrip, Earnhardt. I mean, I had the privilege to race against all those guys, and Sterling Marlin and Bobby Hamilton, just a lot of great drivers. And it just seems like it's not like that anymore. I mean, there was a bunch of them out there that are still good drivers, don't get me wrong, but back then it was like you had to race against the veteran type drivers all the time, and which really taught me a lot, and I had a lot of respect for all of them. And I don't know, and Earnhardt for sure, you got to throw him in there for sure. Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott. I mean, I can just keep going on and on and on. And that was a whole group that I kind of come up with as far as my career goes, and had a lot of fun racing against those guys.
Well, it kind of leads me into what I was going to ask you, because I was kind of curious. I don't know how much you really keep up with the current, racing scene, but is there any drivers out there, any talent that's really caught your eye? Like, I would say the four of us have really grown to seeing the talent in Ty Gibbs. I didn't know if you had recognized someone that you've seen that's got a lot of talent out there right now.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of them out there on the short tracks and stuff. But as far as, just overall talent, the first one I would think of would be Kyle Larson. He's done a really good job on late models and sprint cars and everything he's getting in, he's winning races in. So really that'd probably be the number one as far as my pick would go. And as far as just, it stands out. And Chase Elliott, obviously, Chase has already proved himself, and he's already a champion and all that good stuff. So as far as the NASCAR stuff goes, it'd definitely be them too. And I'm sure there's more out there, but it'd be hard to beat either one of those two any given week.
Well, Jeremy, you had talked about different drivers you've raced against and who the toughest were. Now I got to ask, I have a bunch of Earnhardt stuff all behind me, and I got to ask, what was it like rattling the Intimidator's cage?
Well, it was pretty cool. It was definitely a dream come true to be able to do that on that type of race. We'd run good all day, and both of us, and we kind of got little advantage by putting on two tires at the end, both of us, and we're able to pull away. And that was just a perfect ending day for me and for anybody that was in that position. And thank God it happened, because that's really been a highlight of my career. Seems like a lot of people talk about all that, and he was a special guy, and really missed upon the sport right now. And I think a lot of people look back and see that the sport definitely changed after he's been gone. So for me to be a part of his legacy or whatever, somewhere, somehow, it's just, special to me. And I know, and like I said, I always look back on it, and I hear about it about every week. Somebody's bringing it up and, wanting to know about how the race went and always talking about it. So that's been pretty cool.
There's a story that goes around a lot, and I don't know if you said it or if it came up on the internet or or where it came from, and I wanted to kind of get it kind of verified. Is it true that Dale Earnhardt had warned you about Brian France, like, or anything like that? Because I've heard that story before, but I don't want to spread it around unless I know it's true. Like,
well, I'm going to try my best to stay away from all that here tonight. Anyway, I seem like I always get myself in trouble and always say the wrong things or whatever, and so I'm just going to let that one go. But I mean, you can see where the sport's at, and you can see what's going on, and I'm not sure who was responsible for it or whatever, but it certainly made a turn for whatever direction it's going in, and not sure who did it or why or whatever. But I wish them the best and hope that they get it back on track or whatever. And there again, I'm not sure whose fault it is, but all you got to do is kind of look around and use your own judgment, I guess you'd say, to see what's going on. But I'm not going to say Earnhardt never told me nothing like that, because he did, but just kind of in short, whatever, he just kind of spoke with me one time and kind of explained to me a couple things, and it made sense.
Kind of bouncing off that in a more broad sense, what would you say is your maybe relationship isn't the right word, but how close of attention do you pay to NASCAR these days? Do you still follow regularly, or you kind of watch races, tune in occasionally from afar?
Yeah, I just kind of stay afar from it. It's still hard for me to watch races and follow it, and watch it on Sundays. I do occasionally, and whenever I get a chance, whatever, I'll check on it, kind of find out who's running where, and just kind of keep a little bit of a eye on it, but not like I was, or like I probably had been in the past, for sure. But it's still hard. Sundays are hard to go and do anything really, because that's all I've ever done my whole life was race, and spent a lot of Sundays at the racetrack with all those guys. And now not to be able to do that or even go and watch, that's pretty tough. So we just kind of keep my distance and find something else to do on Sunday than what I used to do, and then just keep moving forward.
Well, in your heyday back in the early 2000s, you were definitely one of the best drivers. I mean, specifically, you were one of the top 10 in NASCAR. 2004, that final race, the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. You were entering that race 13th in the standings, needed to make the top 10 to make the inaugural chase for the Cup. Just what was it like that night, just coming in clutch and just having everything go your way?
Man, that was another dream race for us. We just knew that to be able to make it into the chase, we had to do everything right. Everything had to be perfect. Couldn't be any mistakes. And, all of our guys just kept talking about it all week long, and we were just really pumped up and kind of came in as the underdog. And everybody kind of counted us out already. And we felt like we knew we could get it done. We had to just put everything together that we've learned, together all those years, and just, make it all happen in one night. And we knew it was going to be tough and it was going to be hard, but I don't know. We were on a mission and went out and I'd said all that week, I kept saying, we're going to do this. We're going to win the race. And it's easier said than done, and then when we showed up on that night to race, we were all there and man, everybody made the right calls on pit road and didn't have any problems with the car. Car handled great all night. And then we ended up in victory lane. And that's when that's when that's what it's all about. That's what racing's all about, is coming from those type of situations and just keep fighting forward and then we made it into the chase, and then really that was almost a thing that couldn't have been done, and we done it. So it makes us especially proud for that race.
And I guess my follow-up to that is, 2004 and 2005, you guys had really built up a lot of momentum from those initial years, 2002 and 2003, really building up that 19 program specifically. Like, what do you think went wrong towards the end there, where, because 2004, 2005, you make the chase for the Cup 2 seasons in a row, but then 2006 had a bit of a fall off there. What do you think went wrong?
Well, I'm not sure what all happened or why it happened or whatever. We just, there again, that's when everything just kind of fell apart with Ray and myself and the team. I don't know. I don't know if it's bad communication on all of our parts or whatever it was, but we just couldn't seem to hit on anything. And Casey was running good and he was running great, and had all good equipment, and we both had great cars and stuff. We couldn't hit on anything, and all my guys went over to his team, and I ended up with a bunch of new guys, and okay. That's all it takes anymore, is just that one little that's a pretty huge deal, change all your guys around. But
so it was basically a whole team swap between the 19 and the 9.
Pretty much, but it wasn't a swap. It was just he got all my guys and I got what Bill had, the 91 car had for guys, and at that point in time, and it didn't work. It wasn't working at all. Man, the crew chief wasn't getting along. Me and the guys weren't getting along, and it just wasn't a good deal. And that's what the couple of years before that, that's what it took. It takes communication, everybody working together for the same goal, and when you start that all over again, man, it's a tough process, and it's tough to get everybody thinking alike and everybody to understand what everybody needs as far as race team goes, and what I need as a driver. And if you don't have that kind of communication, you're going to run bad. That just shows you right there that just equipment alone is not going to do it. There's so many teams that's come in and bought up all brand new cars and brand new stuff and just think they got the best stuff in the world. But if they don't have the communication, their guys don't get along, they don't form as a team, then they don't run good. And it shows every week out there. There's several of them like that. And that's kind of what we found ourselves in, and just part of it. And, that's really what created a lot of our problems between Ray and I. And then, looking back, I'm sure we both could have done a lot of things different and didn't do it. And, it just all failed, and we just didn't run good. And the 19 car didn't run good after that. If you look back and see what happened, it never did run good after that. So that just shows you how temperamental those things are. And when you make one little small deal or even a huge change like that, it's hard to get back.
At the very least, you'll always be the best 19 driver Abraham ever had, at least.
Right, that's for sure. Hopefully.
All right, Jeremy, this will be the last question from us, the host, before Jarrett will have some questions come to us from our fans. So, first of all, just want to say thanks for answering a lot of these tough questions. I know you said it's got to be tough to talk about, a sport that you gave so much of your life to, and for it, for everything to happen the way it did. So I appreciate that. What I want to really ask, though, is a lot of people who watch this show are about like us. We're in some of them are in their late teens, some we're in our mid 20s. We got some people that's in their early 30s who watch us, some older than that. A lot of us know you as well, probably more. We knew you more in the Dodge days. We knew you as one of the two Dodge drivers out there. But outside of racing, what do you want us, 20-something-year-olds to know you, Jeremy Mayfield, the man, as, what do you want to be remembered for?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I haven't finished that part of my career yet. So hopefully when that gets done in the next few years, then I'll be able to answer that better. But, I definitely don't want to be known for what happened to me and why I'm not racing anymore, because that's not right. I can tell them that right now. And I want to go out the way I want to go out, my way, and not a fabricated way that never existed. So, that's the biggest thing, and that's what I fight through every day is having to, deal with that kind of stuff on a daily basis. And it's tough. And, but know that, as far as driving abilities and everything that I've ever done, I never had no problems whatsoever with anybody in NASCAR. None of them. No, not one person. And, except one, but he's at the top. But other than that, what happened was just definitely something never should have happened, never should have even got to the point it did. And hopefully when you look back and I can finish out my career the way I'm going to do it, and if everything goes right, people understand that. And that'll be a huge comeback, but it's certainly something I'm working towards right now.
Well, Jeremy, that actually leads towards the a lot of the fan questions here. The first one, and this is the most asked one, is especially with the precedent that Greg Biffle set of, even coming back in a truck. If you were able to, would you come back to NASCAR in some form? Yeah,
if I was able to. I mean, I'm totally able to. That's no problem. It's just the fact of whether they let me back in, and that's up to them. And I definitely would come back and race trucks or anything really, and and come back and do it 110%, but not sure if that's even possible, as far as where we stand with NASCAR at this point in time. But, I'm not saying anything couldn't happen, and really it should have already happened. It would help both of us. It would have helped me and help them and help the sport, showing that that they're willing to work with me on their side, and then I was willing to work with them on my side, and we could have got to sing over with a long time ago. But, not sure why it didn't happen. I guess let's wait and see what happens. And if that happens, I'm definitely in.
Well, Keegan asks, which Cup win was your favorite one?
Probably, I gotta say the Earnhardt deal. Because that was one that it took everything, a whole total team effort. We had to have a good car, and be in that right position, right time, and just everything lined up for us that day to beat, the man, Dale Earnhardt, and that's definitely my favorite. But they were all great. I had all my wins were favorites, and even had some that I should have won that are even great favorites for me that I talk about all the time. But, I mean, definitely the Earnhardt deal would be my number one.
Well, and that might kind of feed into another one of the questions we had from David. He asks, what was the I have finally made it moment in your career?
Probably when I was driving for Craniffus Horse Racing, started driving for them, and then Roger Penske had bought Carl Haas out and became our partner on the team, whatever it was, Penske Craniffus. And I can remember flying up to Mobile One and talking to them one night, and they put the deal together right there in front of me, and just the way it all happened was just amazing. Roger goes up and we talked to him for a couple hours, and the deal's done. And I remember flying back home, realizing, man, this is it right here. This is as good as it gets. I'm with a great team with Penske and Craniffus, who had already started a good team, was our other owner. And I just feel like then that I was with, I was in good hands, and this is when I made it. And then we come back and won our first race that year, and that definitely topped it off, and realized, okay, we're here to, we're competitive. We led the points and just ran good every week. And when I started running good like that, that's when I realized that, okay, I got it now,
And Jeremy, our last question of the night is from Demos on Twitter. He asks, what sparked your interest in racing, and are you satisfied with the success your career has had?
What started, sparked my racing was when I was young. That's all I remember doing. From the time I'm 4 or 5 years old, I was riding motorcycles and running laps around my grandmother's yard and just racing something all the time. And just that's something I remember. I look back, and that's all I ever thought about. And that they say this, you hear all these people talking about follow your dreams and just stay focused, laser focused on what you want to do in your life. And that's what I've done. I just stayed at it and thought about it every single day of every minute of every hour of how I was going to become a race car driver. And, just kept following the right steps and just never let up and end up making it. And then as far as what was the second part of that question?
What let me see right here. He had asked,
success.
Are you satisfied with the success your career had?
Not really, not at all. I'm not satisfied one bit, because I feel like I was just reaching the point where I was at my prime and feel like I could have been better than I've ever was. I feel like right now I'm better than I could have ever been, and as a driver, and never got to show that. I missed a lot of years of racing because of, like I said, something that was really uncalled for, and so I'm definitely not satisfied. I think I can be satisfied by, having a good comeback here somewhere, some way, whether it's late models or dirt cars or whatever. But as of right now today, I'm not satisfied yet, but I feel like the future's yet to come, and we got some things that hopefully we'll be able to do in the next few years, and then maybe we'll be able to say we're satisfied.
Well, Jeremy, I want to say thank you for giving us your time in this interview. And I know a lot of people are really interested in what's going on. Where can people find you online, on like Twitter or on YouTube or anywhere? Is there anywhere they can follow you on?
Yeah, they can go to my Facebook page or go to Twitter, either one. And my wife, Shannon, she keeps up with a lot of it too. You can follow her and or me, either one, and keep up with it. And we're gonna get better at doing that too. We got a lot of things that hopefully in the next near future here that we'll be able to keep everybody more posted on what's going on. And hopefully we'll have some YouTube stuff coming up too.
Well, that's awesome. Everybody at home, you heard right from him that where you can find him. Again, Jeremy, thank you so much for this interview. And now back to the show.
Sorry about the dog there. Okay, thank you guys for having me on. We'll anytime you want to do this again, we can do it.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
And we are back. We hope you enjoyed that with Jeremy Mayfield. Again, a huge thank you to Jeremy for taking about a half an hour yesterday to chat with us there. Got into some very personal topics with him, but we appreciate him being honest with us and being willing to share some of his story and some of his favorite and least favorite moments of his career with us. That was a lot of fun. I hope everyone watching enjoyed that. Jarrett, what is next? We have one final topic right before we get into our predictions and picks.
Yes, we do. This one is we alluded to it earlier. It's a silly season story. Kurt Busch says he has 2 offers to race next year in Cup. 2311 is the one everyone thinks of. But what's the other one?
Rick Ware Racing. They want to be more competitive. No, I'm kidding. No. I don't. I would assume it's the Trackhouse one, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
Trackhouse has already filled their spot. They had 2 charters.
Oh yeah. Well, never mind.
I don't ever take them off the table.
That's what I'm saying. You never know.
I'll ask this. The week before they announced their big announcement, would you have guessed that they were buying Ganassi?
No. That's what I'm saying. Anything's possible, and I don't know. Just this whole Kurt Busch offseason stuff is more intriguing, just with these next gen teams trying to buy for his services.
I'm gonna give y'all one, and it might be a conflict of interest with one of the companies involved with them. But Toby Christie reported a few weeks back that there was a top Toyota truck team that was considering going with a Cup Series team next year. What if it's KBM?
See, I'd also seen some other things where it's like a random Toyota team too.
That's the rumor. I know the rumor that I saw going around, but rumor mill time.
Rumor mill.
The one I can't pronounce it. Damn it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the team you can't pronounce.
Rayum.
Yeah, Rayum.
That's the rumor.
That is the one. Yeah, I mean, I heard that a few times in this past weekend, but you can't verify that.
Know. Yeah. We didn't hear it from Bob, so who really knows? It could be coming from absolutely nowhere at that point. But,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. My guess, I think he's going to end up with 2311, but I think what the holdup is they don't have a charter. They're looking for a charter. There's rumors going around that they've talked to Front Row about maybe buying their charter or charters. But until a deal gets done, I think Kurt Busch is keeping his options open. And to me, I think an option, think about a fairly competitive team that's similar in level and status to 2311, that does have a charter, that does not have a full-time driver attached to it yet, is Colleague. They've got 2 charters. One's Justin Haley. The other, they've said, we'll probably put Almandinger in for a few races, some other guys for a few races. But they also said maybe a full-time driver if the right candidate comes along. That could be Kurt Busch. And I think Colleague has the ability to be about as competitive as 2311 next year.
As long as, we got qualifying available, they'll bring a third car for AJ to try to qualify probably.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and he'll be running a part-time schedule anyway, so it's not. Yeah. And Kurt Busch. I mean, him teaming up with Justin Haley too, who also has some sort of some type of potential in the Cup Series as well. I mean, it seems like a pretty cool fit.
Yeah. I think he ends up with 2311, though. I think they will get a charter from someone, because whether Front Row sells him a charter or sells him the whole team, or whether maybe Rick Ware, who sounds like they're willing to part with 1 or 2 charters, possibly. I think there now are a couple of charters on the market, and I gotta believe 2311 Racing will be able to get one. But I'm sure the fewer charters there are, the more people there are trying to buy them, the more expensive they get. So
yeah, they're definitely in high demand, that's for sure.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you what, I would love for him to be in the 97 if possible.
Yes,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no matter what team, you come full circle in the 97 ride.
I thought it was interesting. Kurt also said during an event yesterday that he said something along the lines of he feels like he's being called to the broadcast booth. So I think we know what he's doing when he's done driving, whenever that may be. He's pretty entertaining in the booth too. Whenever he does this one thing, he deals with FS1. Yeah.
Well, and I think it says here he also is going to be doing all of the playoff truck broadcasts with Fox Sports 1.
Nice.
Which is good, because I think Fox Sports in general needs every good omen would ever put into it possible. And he's really good in the booth.
I know Clint and Mike need someone there with them, but I don't know if Kurt's quite ready for it.
Yeah,
you can't be worse than Gordon.
Yeah, I know, this is not too high of a bar to set right there.
Look at this.
Look at this.
Chase Elliott in 7th place. What a guy.
We don't have to hear the Hendrick Motorsports favoritism. I'll at least give Junior this. He tries to be as neutral as possible in his broadcast and stuff. But Gordon is just so blatant too. So Kurt Busch, if he's following that up, then not too much to handle.
It's pretty cool to see Gordon at the track this weekend at Indianapolis, hanging with the Hendrick guys. He has stepped into that role in a big way. I think that's huge for that team.
And he fits better there.
It's perfect, yeah.
But I just want to see one last time where Kurt can get that chance that he had a few years ago, where he almost made it into the Final Four. I want to see one more chance for Kurt to get it done. Because I think of any of the drivers from like his era coming in, from like 99 to 2002, it's like he's the one that I want to see the most have a good ending to his career. And I think outside of Harvick, he's like the most likely that can do so, you know?
Yeah, I think isn't he the second oldest driver in Cup this year, full time behind Harvick?
He's definitely top five.
He's definitely a first or second. He's got to be up there.
He's 43, I believe, and Harvick's 45, so I think he's number 2.
Harvick's that old?
Yeah, Harvick's.
He's up there.
I thought he was younger.
Kurt's been racing a lot longer, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So good point.
Yeah.
But I hope he ends up with 2311 just because I want to see. I think that would help that whole team. That was the point of my video I uploaded before the podcast tonight was if 2311, the Michael Jordan team that has a Netflix documentary in the works that has full funding from DoorDash, Columbia Sportswear, all these big companies, Dr. Pepper, if they can't land a charter and they can't land the best free agent on the market when they're a Toyota-backed team with all those other and they've been so public. Hamlin basically bragging about, look at our new shop. We're going to have 4 cars in a few years.
Look at us.
If they can't get Kurt Busch this offseason, that's an epic failure. That's because he'll be such an asset to that team, both to the team and to Bubba Wallace specifically. If they can't get him, that's a loss. That's a big loss.
That's an L. That's a giant L.
Colleague, or if someone else swoops in and grabs him, or Fox snatches him up next season.
It would be even worse. It'll be even worse if it's one of those other new next-gen teams that'll be coming in on the forefront for the next few years, like a Colleague or a Trackhouse.
People said, I think Newman maybe is a couple months older. He's 6 months older than Kurt. Okay, so Newman's second, then Kurt. All right, thanks, Chap.
And the thing is, like,
competitive though.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, Harvick, Busch, Newman, like, they technically all came into the Cup Series in 2001. I mean, Newman did make some select starts that year, but, yeah, now they're all the elder statesmen, and time's flown by, definitely.
Well, I'd say we about to covered that. There's one last thing to cover, and it's what's coming up. Another thing for the future, Michigan and Gateway this weekend. Yes, the Xfinity and Cup Series are racing in a different place than the Truck Series. Cup is going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday on NBCSN and MRN. And I can just tell you that, hey, my dad's a member of the channel. How about that? Cool.
I recognize that name right away. I recognize him.
Who Darian is a Cubs fan. And then I will say one thing about Michigan, they might be fighting light depending on if there's any delays. So fingers crossed there's none. Xfinity is going to start on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Remember a few weeks ago, we had actually talked about how they moved the start time back a half hour, which I found kind of odd, but that'll also be on NBCSN and MRN. The trucks will be at 9 p.m. Eastern time Friday night on Fox Sports 1 and MRN from Gateway. Oh, late.
Like our chat when we're 30 seconds past the hour. Late.
It's not even 30 seconds. It's like 5 seconds now.
Yeah, I love it. So looking at the weather this weekend, Michigan on Saturday is 86 degrees. There's probably going to be afternoon thunderstorms. They said 40% chance, so that might be a little difficult with the way the race timing is. Michigan does not have lights, by the way, just letting you know that. Sunday Cup race will be 81, partly sunny and humid, around 25% chance. Most of the stuff should move out. Gateway on Friday night, 87 degrees, humid with thunderstorms possible. 50, well, it says 50, but I looked again really quick before we went back to this. Over a 50% chance of rain, so yikes.
That's why they're working on getting those oval rain tires in the next few years.
Hey, man, like I said, this is a wild card race, not only for the package, but also the weather, too. You know, you never know who's going to be leading at the halfway point when the weather comes in effect, so we'll see.
And then something about this weekend that I think people will find interesting is NASCAR Scott Miller said on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio that they're going to apply the same formula of resin that they had at Nashville this weekend at Michigan, saying that hopefully it widens out the racing line. Davey Siegel reported this too. So you got to hope, man. You got to hope that, because Michigan has, ever since the repave, as much as I love that 2012 race, it is shrunk that racing line down to a lane and a half. If we can just get 2 lanes or 3, like, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I remember they used to run the fence at Michigan.
Seems yes, the good old
unheard
days.
of.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But Darian, do you have a You got a betting odds for us?
Yes, the betting odds, of course. Then I'll pull them up again. See, I always.
I bet.
Like my daily thing.
I'm pretty sure Larson's probably got the high. Hasn't he had the best? I guess the lowest
Yeah,
odds
actually,
means best, right?
So here's the large differential. So Kyle Larson enters the this week's Firekeepers Casino 400 race at plus 280 betting odds, and then the second closest is Kyle Busch at plus 650. So they really think Larson's got this.
I gotta ask you, what is Kevin Harvick looking like?
So Harvick on here, he is plus 800, so not bad. But so is Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. They're also plus 800 and plus 750 respectively. But I mean, it looks like they think Kyle Larson has this in the bag. It looks like.
So hasn't Harvick won like the last 2 races there?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 3?
Or it could be longer.
Last 3. I gotta admit, that's a pretty good return for a bet right there this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Bake the Snake, I'll read this in a bit too, but it's 50% for the trucks.
Gateway
on Friday night. Cup is 25%. So, yeah.
All right.
I want to clarify that. And I realized I didn't contact because Jeremy, I didn't ask him about his picks. I realized we need a guest pick. So,
yeah.
Oops. Oops. Oh, and Darian,
shit.
by the way, Spencer in the chat says the famous betting odds.
The famous betting odds that I always forget to pull up toward the end of the show every time.
Speaking of picks, I can read off the pick points right now.
Nice.
It is another good week for me. I am leading still at 454 points. Eric is now minus 46. The chat is minus 94, so y'all still are on the podium.
Yeah.
The guest pick is 4th, minus 98. Darian is in 5th, minus 99. And Danny is 6th, minus 123.
Yeah.
That battle for 3rd is tight.
I'm close to the podium. I can get it this week. I got a feeling I can do it.
All right. So how we starting this off? Who want? I think I don't want to go first, but I definitely should go before Eric. That way we don't pick the same person.
I'll just go first. So for trucks, my pick for the winner and at Gateway, John Hunter Nemechek, of course. Yeah, I see him doing well. Oh, and this is also the first race in the playoffs as well, too. I just realized that.
Yeah. Danny, you go next.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with Sheldon Creed.
Creed in the corner.
Sounds a bit swelled.
By the way, do we have a guest pick, or are we just gonna let people in the chat?
We'll
super
contact a
static
guest
or something?
after the show. We'll sort that out. We have people we can get to.
We'll put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I should probably go, shouldn't I?
Well, I actually just got reached out by one of our guests asking, if they're down to be a guest pick if you guys want to.
Sure.
Sure.
I don't care.
Let's do it.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
Well, are we doing that right now, or do we want me to go next?
I'm gonna, you go ahead. I'm just gonna tell them to give me trucks, Xfinity, and Cup wins.
Yep.
Alrighty. So my truck pick finished 2nd in 2018, 2nd in 2019, and led 75 laps in 2020, most laps out of anyone. Going Todd Gilliland as my pick.
Come on.
Yeah, I see. I saw those same stats. I thought about Todd Gilliland, but the playoffs are here. I want to trust the veteran driver, so I'm going to agree with Darian. I'm going with John Hunter Nemechek to win the truck race. Because he's a veteran. He's like 24 years old, but he is a Truck Series veteran in good equipment.
He ran in the Cup Series last year, and now he's in great Truck Series.
Yeah, 1 year in Cup is like equivalent to 2 years in Truck. So he is he's a vet.
We got a guest, or we're going to the chat first?
Chat looks like Creed, so we can write that one down.
Yeah, Creed. You might as well just put that down because they picked Creed for that.
We might have to come back to the guest picks truck win.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. Well, we can go to Xfinity. Who we going with this? I can't speak tonight.
With the
Who we going with for the Xfinity race? Darian, lead us off before I can't speak anymore.
Is Ty Gibbs racing, yo?
Yeah.
I do know.
Ty Gibbs. I'm gonna go with Ty Gibbs, of course.
Even with Chris, they got maniacs on the pit box.
No,
sure?
I don't care. No, Ty Gibbs. Yeah, of course.
Danny.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs.
Oh no! Don't make me pick someone other than Ty Gibbs. I want to root for Ty Gibbs. He's back on an oval. We haven't seen him on an oval in a while.
Nah.
You know, I'll go Ty Gibbs. I think he would.
You thought about it for a second.
I really did. I was looking, but I'm like, I don't know about. Yeah, I don't trust these other guys. I think the Gibbs cars will be fastest, and literally no other Gibbs guys have wins this year except people in the 54. So I just don't trust them. I don't trust them.
Hey, and by the way, for the truck guest win, they would have met with Matt Crafton.
Okay.
Who's our guest pick? Who is this madman?
They're gonna stay anonymous right now. I can tell you after the show.
It's Shugs. Whispering in his ear.
He's like this on his phone. He's just
boop, 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 boop.
Alrighty. So who do we got for Xfinity by chance?
Chat. I think it's between Allgaier and Gibbs, but there are a lot for Allgaier, which I've been
I see a
surprised.
Gregson.
Greg.
The guest pick for Xfinity is Austin Cindric.
Okay.
Yep, that's a good pick.
Somebody different.
Worked for Danny.
Yeah, for the chat, I think it looks like Ty Gibbs. It looks like over here.
It feels like a dead heat between him and Allgaier, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Allgaier's the same dude.
I know I've seen a lot of different Allgaiers in the chat, but
No, now I say Blue Jimmy.
Now
yeah,
there's more.
now
Yeah,
there's a
now
bunch
there's
of Gibbs just came in. I think it's a Gibbs.
Yeah, I have to give him the Gibbs. edge.
Going once.
I don't know.
Going
Then
twice.
I just saw 5 straight Allgaiers. So shoot, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know now.
Oh, good thing I paused.
This is tight.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I know there's a little bit of delay, but either put a 7 or a 54 to make it easier, but it'll be quicker at the same time. But
Yeah.
we'll be able to see pretty quick there. 7 or 54.
Some people the chat's getting heated. People can't believe each other's
They're
picks.
wait a minute. Are you serious?
Oh, man.
Now we're seeing Cindric now.
I think it's gonna be Allgaier, but I wait until the numbers start rolling in.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's Allgaier.
It's getting heavy Allgaier
Yeah,
now.
wow.
So
All
I don't
right.
want to close it just yet. Oh wow. Wow, that's
Yeah,
a lot of 7s.
That's very much Allgaier, and they're often different people.
Hey,
Yeah.
we saw somebody pick someone pick Vargas.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to him.
That's Allgaier. It's Allgaier.
Yeah,
man.
wow. Yeah, Allgaier guys. Okay, well, some people in the chat are about to be pissed off with that pick. And we'll see if it pays off.
All right, let's get into who is gonna suck. Who is our suck pick for Cup this week?
Suck pick for Cup. At Michigan, kind of a wild card race. You know, these Penske cars, they've been kind of like, I mean, we've been on road courses and stuff though, and they have had some bad luck. I mean, Ryan Blaney, like every time he runs here, it's like last year he was competing for the lead. I mean, for the victory, and he got sideswiped by his teammate Keselowski there too. So like, I feel like something always happens to Blaney here. So I'm gonna go Ryan Blaney's gonna suck.
All right, Danny, who you got?
Bad time for him to have a bad run, but all things considered, last year he came out of Michigan with 21st being his average finish. So I'm gonna say Tyler Reddick is gonna suck.
Oh, I'm up next. I was gonna say Reddick, and I got a little. It was hard for me to choose between Reddick and Austin Dillon, because I went back and looked.
Pick? Reddick's on fire.
Damn.
Yes, but I went back and
he has
looked
an
at
average
numbers.
finish of 21st there.
So, Dillon's last 4 races under the 550 package are 8th, 31st, 13th, 26th. Reddick is 24th, 18th, 26th, 12th, and that team that's like adding in what the 8 team the whole time has done. But I don't want to do the same, so I'm going to say Austin Dillon, even though I feel bad saying that because like my dad just did that thing and he's a big Reddick fan and he's going this week, but Reddick's not probably going to do too hot, but I think Dillon will do worse.
All right, well, I'm going to keep things fun and fresh. I think Kevin Harvick's going to suck by his standards this week. That means he's going to run 7th. I think he's going to finish between 6th and 8th place, somewhere in that range, which obviously is not a bad day. But given that he's won here a bunch of times in the past, I'm pretty sure he won here last year. To be honest, I don't actually remember.
He won, yeah, he did.
But I was looking up some stats today. Kevin Harvick has not led a single lap at an intermediate track this year. Not one. 0.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know he's great at this track, but for me, it's more of a what have you done for me lately, and that is nothing. I feel like their big problem this year is aerodynamics with the rear wheel wells, and Michigan's all about aero. So I just think he's gonna have a 8th place car, or he'll probably have a 15th place car, and because he's Kevin Harvick, he'll drag that thing to like 7th, and that's where he'll finish.
All right, what's the chat got for us right now?
I will go ahead and say the guest said for suck Ryan Blaney.
Okay. Ooh. Let's see. I saw Bubba, Matty D, Logano. No, I'm surprised by that. One person had Logano though.
Harvick swept last year. Yeah, Harvick did a lot last year. He's done none of it this year, so I'm confident. I'm very confident in that pick. He's going to finish 6th. I'm calling it now.
Somebody said Chastain.
Seeing a lot of I saw some DiBenedetto. Seeing a lot of 23s in there.
Yeah, I see a lot of 23s as well. Oof, health, of course.
That's fair.
Then Amarola, Dylan. Then let's see. I see Matty D. It's kind of spread out. I don't know, spread out now.
Yeah, I'm not seeing really too much of a consensus.
Yeah.
There's some Harvicks.
I've swayed a few of you. So join the insanity side.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I can really pick one. Mayfield's not even racing, y'all. Come on. Brad.
Wow, this is actually really, really.
See, some of them are like contenders as well, too.
I'm seeing Bubba's. I'm seeing DiBenedetto's, Hamlin's, Truex, and Harvick.
The Benedetto also all coming from one person, I think.
Yeah. So we can eliminate him.
Custer. There's one, but yeah, it's very spread out. There's not really a definitive one at the moment.
I feel like we're seeing some Bubbas a lot. We're seeing a lot of Bubbas.
Now we're starting to see some 23s pop up.
I'm seeing a lot of Hamlin, though.
Oh, yeah. That's from different accounts, too. Huh.
I'm actually saying more Hamlin than I am Bubba.
I am seeing probably more Hamlins.
Yeah. I like how Cedar just says just go with Dylan. Like, no, he's not the one who's getting most voted.
Yeah, well, dude, now the 11, I see like the 11s consistently.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Hamlin on this.
I think it is Hamlin.
Yeah, it's Hamlin. You guys
that
decided.
Surprises me.
Well, y'all decided it.
Maybe there's a method to the madness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dark horse picks. Darian, lead us off. Who's your dark horse pick?
So the dark horse pick, I had a few guys on the bubble and a few who need a win. I said Michigan's going to be a wild card race, and so like I don't know if like we're going to have somebody on the outside looking in win per se, but I do think we'll see a lot of those guys run better than usual. I mean, we saw what this guy could do on restarts last year here in that 43 car, so I'm really curious to see how he'll run here this week in the 23. So Bubba, I'll have him as my underdog. I think that's a fair one. I think a good day for him will possibly be like a top 10. Do I think he's going to make the playoffs though? Like after this, nah, I don't think so. I think he'll need a win in Daytona to make that happen, but he'll run good here this week.
Danny?
Oh my God. I'm actually going to take Eric Jones for my underdog.
So I'd also put Bubba just because I think I feel like Michigan is the type of track where 23-11 can just like have a solid day, run like 15th all day, and then do what they did at a few other tracks and just sort of get a little speed towards the end of the race and finish 10th.
Yeah.
So I'll
look out on some type of strategy that do.
Yeah. So I'll put him there. I don't think this team is going to be contending for a win, but I think they'll be like bottom half the top 10 kind of speed this week, and I'm gonna say that he has a relatively good shot.
I'm gonna go with Matt DiBenedetto as my underdog pick. Been hard on Matt DiBenedetto this year. I think he's deserved the hardness some of the time, but since Jonathan Hassler stepped up as his crew chief, well, I know he's been his crew chief now for like 8 or 9 races, but in the last 5 races, DiBenedetto hasn't finished worse than 11th, 5 weeks in a row. And he's driving a Ford, Wood Brothers at Michigan. I got to believe they're going to put some focus on this. He's in Penske equipment, and I know Logano's won this race a few times, so we know the Penske cars are usually pretty quick. I look for DiBenedetto to be a top 5 threat.
Damn, imagine if they made that switch earlier in the season. Might be a different points layout. I mean, that consistent over 5 races doesn't happen just like that.
So who we got for guest if we have one yet?
Yeah, do we have a guest one?
They said they're flipping a coin to pick a Roush car for an underdog.
Okay.
All right. Well, while we wait for the coin flip, we'll look at the chat at the moment.
I see Chastain. I see Davison in there too, but
One guy spamming Davison.
Yeah.
I have seen Chastain.
Okay, the guest is Ryan Newman.
Ah, okay.
Ooh, that should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Man. All right, chat. What do you have for us? Now, remember, you can't pick Hamlin for any of these. Just saying, since you already picked him to suck.
Yeah, I don't see a single Hamlin one,
I see
but I see a lot of 21s, 23s.
Yeah, I see a lot of 21s and 23s.
Yeah, okay. This time it is Matty D from a lot of different people. It looks like.
I think it might be Matt DiBenedetto actually.
Oh, I'm seeing some 23s for some different people too.
I'm saying
A
mainly.
few.
I'm saying mainly Matty D.
The DiBenedetto and Matty D is
And there's
Oh,
some of them saying
yeah.
Some of them saying Guido, so it's different.
Now we're seeing the 21.
He has too many names. It's confusing us.
I think this one is DiBenedetto.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it down. All right, we're going to what, Darian? What are we going to?
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Michigan?
It gets
this
more
week?
drawn out and hard to listen to every week.
Yeah.
Hard to listen to.
Sorry, guys.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, traditions never die. But who's gonna win this weekend at Michigan? All right, so I gotta go first and making this pick. See, I wanted to say Harvick, but I think Eric's right. Like, I feel like he'll just like run in 6 all day and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna back out of that. I'm just gonna go with like the safe pick here. I think Kyle Larson will dominate this one.
Oh.
40 starts here. Average finish of 11th. 11 times he's finished in the top 2. 5 wins. 4 of those 5 wins have come in the last 5 races here. How can you not go with Kevin Harvick here?
Well, I'll tell you how. The guy that I'm picking is running way better than Harvick this year. Harvick has been off. But this guy at the 550 tracks finished 10th, 3rd, 5th, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 2nd. At Michigan in the 550 package, he's finished 6th, 5th, 4th, and 5th. And he is just getting stronger as the year goes on. I know that Eric knows who I'm picking. I'm going KFB.
Fuck! God dang it! Oh.
He does.
KFB.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, well, Kyle Busch was going to be my pick. I got to decide. We picked different for Xfinity. No, we picked the same Xfinity. Dang, so I got to pick something different than you for Cup.
We picked different for truck.
And Darian, who'd you have again?
For Xfinity?
No, who'd you have for Cup?
Oh, for Cup. Oh, damn! I just picked him. Dang it!
Kyle
Who did I-
Larson.
Oh,
You said Kyle
Larson. There we go. See, I just
This is why I write shit down.
I didn't really have a backup. I did not think you were going to pick Kyle Busch. Oh, man. Chat, who should I pick?
He's
No, that's their job.
Oh, yeah, they got to figure it out
positions.
themselves. Man, I don't want to pick Larson. I generally don't think Larson's going to win. I'm still, his last 2 races on ovals, he's finished 18th and 7th. And I know he ran pretty well at Atlanta. It was a late restart, kind of screwed him up. But he didn't lead any laps in either race. So I want to wait and see how Hendrick runs on an oval. Fine, it's been a few weeks since they've run an oval. I want to see what their oval program looks like after NASCAR cracked down on them. So I don't really want to pick a Hendrick car. They'll still be good, and there's a lot of them. But man,
It's hard.
You might as well pick Bowman. He likes to win after I went to a race and
Yeah.
I went to a race.
maybe there's karma or something. I'm gonna
It's like
go.
2 weeks in a row that I've done this to you.
I know, and I really thought you weren't gonna. I was like, nah, he's not probably not gonna pick Kyle Busch. It's just kind of boring. He's gonna go somewhere else.
I just saw your face. I started listing it off, and you're
Yeah, I
like,
was like, I think those numbers sound right. I'll go with his teammate. I'll go with Martin Truex Jr. I was impressed with Truex's resiliency at the Indianapolis road course. I know the track is nothing different. No, I don't want to go Truex because he's been only his only wins. I was still in the middle of a sentence. I hadn't finished my sentence. His only wins this year have come with the 750 package. I don't trust Truex. This sucks. All right, I was so locked into my pick. Is Ty Gibbs right? No, I'm kidding.
Not yet. Not yet.
You know
Maybe
what?
next year.
Just announced racing in the 96 car.
I don't think I don't think I've ever picked him, quite honestly, ever, it feels like. But I'll go Joey Logano. He's won this race a few times before.
You're kidding.
That's a good one.
I don't know if I picked Logano. I probably have, but it's been a while. I feel like I haven't picked him in a long time.
Guess what, Eric? You won't be alone because the guest also picked Joey Logano.
All right,
Oh,
we're riding
there you go.
together, guest.
and chat. The time has come. What is your pick?
Let's see. I see the 5, the 1. Well, let's spread out again, so I don't really know.
I saw a lot of Larsons.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo. He keeps on
The curb.
keep picking
Someone said the
Ronaldo.
curb.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
The curb did win this past week.
There's some
Damn.
5s coming in.
A few Logano's. I'm swaying people. I don't even believe in my own pick. So
Hey, somebody picked Eric Jones to win. Go on.
I'll be honest. Byron's getting a lot of picks now.
There is a good
there's
amount
the
of
T-Pain
24s.
every week.
Yeah.
Don't know why someone votes T-Pain.
See, Spencer in the chat is getting straight to the point. One of your channel members, Jared. He's like, "Hey, just pick the 5. Don't be dumb, chat."
Okay, I even saw Claudia had a 5.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think it's
seeing
leaning
9s,
5. It looks like it's
but
leaning
yeah.
towards the 5.
Yeah, I see a few more 5s now.
They're going Kyle Larson.
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
they're going Larson.
Come on, Logano.
So we got
Larson
2
did
for
it.
Larson,
I-
2 for Logano, and KFB and
But I
Harvick.
got to say the Byron people they had a good run going.
They did. He's gaining steam.
Yes.
All right. Well, that concludes the picks for this week. So
What a roller coaster.
we got it. Oh, it was. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Your face freaking got me when you could tell who I was picking. That was good. That was
That was
gold.
funny.
I like saw the anguish on your face, and I'm like, oh, yep, he knows.
And
what
he
I'm
cussed on stream, guys. If you play it back, Eric
Did
cussed
I?
on stream.
Yeah,
you said, "Foot." You
Whoa,
said,
whoa, no, I didn't.
You did.
No,
Yeah, you
dropped
did.
the
Yeah,
F-bomb.
you did.
You had an F-bomb.
Oh, I don't think
Mhm.
I did. The chat
We
would have
all
told me
heard
if I
it.
did.
No,
They
we all
did.
heard
The
it.
chat did. The
Oh,
chat
yeah.
did.
We
I
all
did-
heard you.
I probably just went, "Pwah."
Eric.
All right, I'll have to replay it. I didn't think I did.
It's
But
gonna be all.
It might have
over-
been a
It's gonna,
held back.
it's gonna be all over Twitter.
Yeah.
All
there was
right,
an
well,
OBS glitch.
Yeah,
Technical
yeah,
difficulties. It wasn't me.
Uh,
It was somebody else. It was Iceberg's dad in the chat.
Eric, it's okay. You just cuss. It's fine. It's okay.
Eric, you're talking to everyone there, bud.
Whoa! He ate that T-bone. Jesus.
Did I really? I'm not even like mad. Like I've cursed on stream before. That's fine. I'm just shocked. I didn't realize that I did, and that makes me feel
Yeah.
sad. I'm actually
Yeah.
walking.
See,
to, like,
all Eric needs now is his little Burger King.
I'm gonna
crown.
walk into like a children's hospital.
I watched the whole trilogy of that. That was crazy. That was the nuttiest guy I've ever
You
seen.
guys, yeah,
The
you
chat
guys
is-
chill. What are y'all doing?
The chat is confirming that you did.
Well, I just feel bad because
right.
like I usually am aware of when I curse. I'm afraid I'm gonna go into like a children's hospital now and accidentally drop an
Yeah.
F-bomb in front of.
And we're
kids.
acting like Eric said something like serious or racist and something.
Oh
like
yeah,
this
whoa,
time.
chill out. Why are you trying to do this to me?
Our guest pick said to tell Eric to wash his mouth out with soap. For
I want to go back and
cursing
listen to this
live.
now. Did I really?
You did.
You
I
did.
swear.
Well, while you're going back, I'm going to go back and read off the rest of the super chats for the night
do
because
that.
we had some very generous people in there. Let's see what we got. I do like Ris's idea of having a NASCAR weekly podcast swear jar. Since I'm now not the only one that does it. Well, Eric Estepp the second, #justice for Jar Jar, says, Darian, apologize for Christ's sake. You know you did wrong. You keep hurting Jar Jar.
Shut up.
Scott McNew, thank you so much for the $5. Says, Dylan's going to gain ground this week only because I'm going to Michigan this weekend, and he strangely runs fantastic every time I attend Michigan. Well, maybe. I believe in that kind of stuff. PTM Billy, thank you for the $5. Says, what was more chaotic, the Music City GP or the end of the Indy race?
I'd say
the
the
Indy
end
road
of the Indy race there. That was the final.
Yeah,
chaos
that
in
might
laps.
be recency bias, man. That Music City GP, man, that was.
I mean, as a whole, yeah, it was rough and stuff, but like those final 10 laps, man, I was like, I did not expect that.
I think it's even.
Also,
think
I
it's
went
even.
back and listened to the clip. I did not curse. I went "fa" and then I let it do. God dang it! So it sounded
Eric,
like I did, but I did not curse.
Okay.
Okay.
The other White Castle for $1.99 says, bring back the Brickyard 400. He says, I'll die on this hill. Oh my God. Dang it, Danny, for $10 says NASCAR needs to curb the splitter. Also, I'm picking Brad to win his first race at his home track, considering I'll be there and he's only won the only two races I've been to, 2014 Iowa and 2016 Vegas. Well, maybe I should have read that before I did my pick.
Yeah.
Preston Friels, thank you for the $4.99. Says, have you guys seen the video Bob Pockers posted about asking Gregson about his plans next year? And sounded like he's the odd man out of JRM. Yeah, I think we covered that, but that came at the same time. So thank you. Thank you, Speedway Anywhere, for $5. That's just what he left, but thank you. Daniel Shell, thank you for $2. Says Asa real estate agent Noah. Real estate agent Noah Gregson. It just updated on me. Where'd it go? Everything just updated. Okay, I'm back. Barbara for the $5. Is my opinion only. It's always been about money and reflexes. Okay. I'm sorry. Reflexes, I just don't know. Yeah. Let me make sure. Derek Cope, thank you for the 99 cents. I appreciate it. Thank you to Riss for the $15. It says it's always a big treat when I get to watch a show and see y'all. I don't get too often, but when I do, it's always amazing. Well, good to know. Alex, thank you for the $10 super chat. Riley's crew chief. We can gain points this week. Riley, got it. Lose points. Crew chief. No, Riley. It's possible. Riley Herbst. Okay, yeah. No, but he gained them this week. He ran pretty well. I'm not going to hate on him for running well. Yours truly, Chris, for $5 says, when will Indy Road Course have a Joker lap with a jump? Well, we got a ramp, so. Brandon, thank you for the 6. What?
I was going to say, go back to the old Rusty Walrus stream. You got to hit the jump.
Canadian Tire.
All right, Carnation, you got to get out of here, man.
That was a great impression.
I know. I love Rusty. If he's still watching, I love you, man. Brandon, thanks for the $6.99 Canadian dollar. Says, imagine Talladega Super Speedway, a Roval or a night race. Absolute chaos still. Stephen Gibson, thank you for the $10. Says, I think NASCAR should run the old F1 layout where the curb was in turns 5 and 6. It's just turn right and you still build up speed for the tight passing zone. Again, thank you to my dad for becoming a member. It's like other people have like kind of names on here. It's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, he's got the same last name as me, but yeah, totally don't know who it is. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate it. Barbara, thank you for the $5 again. I'm so happy you guys are around. When I started watching NASCAR, I was the youngest one. That we're around. She said that when she started watching NASCAR, she was the youngest one. Thank you. I'm happy for us to be around.
That's cool.
Bake the Snake, 50% chance of rain is for Friday night. But yeah, that's going to be rough. Pretty good thing that Austin Hill won't be in Michigan.
I'm just going to ask that the Barbara lady. I think she's real. She's not like a Bob, right?
I know.
Okay.
He's not Bob.
She's super chatted before. No, yeah, she's been watching.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Barbara, if you're listening. We have like a inside joke of another Barbara.
Yeah.
There's a meme. Preston Friels, thank you for the $9.99, says, do you think NASCAR would ever mandate that if a track wants to host a race, a truck, Xfinity, or Cup race, that the track has to have lights so that calling a race due to darkness is never a concern? I don't think so, just because of the Dover deal, because Dover is next to an air base and they can't put up lights.
Yeah.
I think it's like illegal to do so within a certain vicinity.
Las Vegas has lights right next to a.
Yeah.
But it's a certain. I think it's a certain thing with the one in Dover.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
It's the air base there. Bake the Snake, thanks for the $5. Says, watch Matt Crafton come out of nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised.
Our guest picked him.
Scott McNew, thank you for the $2. Says Daniel Hemrick, it's finally gonna happen. Bake the Snake again for $5. Thank you, man. Says bold Cup winner prediction, Matt DiBurrito. I like it. Otis, thank you for the $2. Says thoughts on Brad and Joey's spotter switch. That we didn't get to cover that, but
yeah,
I think it's interesting. Maybe Brad brings TJ with him.
They're already focusing on the future.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Gian, thank you for the $2. Says, do you think Larson races the Indy 500 next year? I saw that being brought up.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
He needs to one day.
You have a HendrickCars.com scheme in IndyCar. That'd be awesome.
That would be interesting seeing if Jimmy Johnson races having Carvana versus HendrickCars.com.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that would be great. Bake the Snake, thank you again for $5. Says Eric needs to T-pose if he wants people to forget that he cussed.
I didn't. I started.
The Dom Goblin for $1.99 says going to Michigan can bring the hat for you, Jared. That's right. Yes. Yeah, definitely. And like I know I'll be all over the place on Saturday and Sunday, and I'll buy it.
Also, I'm afraid if Eric did T-pose, we probably wouldn't even see the T because he'd probably be too tall.
That is right. That is true.
Oh my God, he's gonna.
Oh, he's gonna do it. Yeah, we're so late. We are so late into the show. Look how tall.
Cut his head off.
I couldn't get the camera up high enough.
He'd cut your head off.
Wait till he gets his headphones back on.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. It cut your head off.
Yeah, I know. I could see that.
That's funny. Blue Jimmy, thank you for the $2. Says this show is making my recovery so much easier. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hope it's going really well. I saw that you had surgery, so
hopefully you're
good
all
luck, man. Alex, thank you for the $5. Riley would still be lost in a maze. I'm not gonna hate on him. Like,
see, look what we did, guys.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on him too much.
Yeah.
He's been running better. I don't give him too much. Dude, for the $27.99 Canadian dollars though, says hot take. It's really stupid that we watch Motorsports Crazy Moments video, enjoy them immensely, and then when the Indy road course curb incident happens, we act like the sky is falling as if we're not genuinely entertained.
He's not wrong by this.
Yeah, he's got a point.
I mean,
at the end of point.
Wrecks are entertaining. Like, I mean,
oh yeah,
they are. It's the same reason people rubberneck when there's a car crash on the side of the road. Everyone wants to see what happened, you know.
As long as you know everyone's okay, they're entertaining. Like,
it's just expensive.
I can't tell you how many times I have rewatched Michael McDowell's split from 2008 because it's entertaining.
Yeah, I had to rewatch that 2021 Daytona crash sometimes because it was entertaining too.
I think, at least for me, like when I saw my first flip in person, that's when it was like a complete like light switch moment where I'm like, I don't like seeing this.
That was in the truck series, wasn't it?
Yes.
It? Yeah,
yes.
That was mine too. And I was like,
I think in Danny's vlog, he like pans over and I'm just like,
like I don't want to see that again.
Yeah, and I'm like that. I never want to see that again in person.
Well, I saw Newman's, and that was like, I've seen enough.
Yeah. It's so it's like, I don't know. I know I like watching compilations like that, but at the same time, like I like watching racing more. Ken _dog_ for $5 says, should trucks go back to Eldora? Will Cup come to Mid-Ohio? Love watching you guys heading down to Knoxville this weekend.
Would like to see Cup at Mid-Ohio, but there might be too many road courses as is.
Yeah,
I think I don't think Cup will. Trucks going back to Eldora should happen.
Does Tony want it to happen? That's to be decided.
If Cup is there with them. All right. Well, that's so far, unless there's any new ones, I don't see any new super chats. So that covers super chats for the night. So we talked about it earlier in the show, just to end out tonight. The NASCAR Weekly Podcast 400 is next week on IDK Players channel. And we're, working arm in arm with him, making sure all that goes well. Like I said, Darian will be in it, Ryan Vargas, Radman, Winvow is going to be in it, Gary Owen.
There should be cars if all of our channels are represented.
Yep, 5 points and Tree. We see another super chat. I'll let it update really quick.
There's one car that's got my face on the hood of it.
Should I join y'all?
There's a
Go for it.
There's a NASCAR Weekly Podcast car as well.
I've got to download iRacing. I don't know how I have to do that first, but I have a wheel now.
So make sure you watch it next week. It'll be right after the show, which is on Darian's channel. We're actually starting an hour earlier to make sure everything runs smoothly.
7 p.m. Eastern time next week, we're going to be starting the show on my channel. We're going to have IDK Player and perhaps maybe another pre-recorded interview. You never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, though.
And if you're going to Daytona too, this all feeds into it because we got your name, Tree, 5 points vids, and Emp Lemon coming with us this weekend, and maybe some more. We got a few people that are really interested in going. So it's going to be a really big week next week. You definitely want to make sure to subscribe to all these guys' channels. If you're not subscribed to me, why not? Why not? And really quick, Bake the Snake. I don't want to loser super chat here. You just donated $5, and it says if trucks go back to Eldora, send Xfinity to Iowa. I'd be cool with that if IndyCar is running it well.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right.
Well, that'll do it for another edition. Yeah, this is without a doubt the longest podcast of the year so far.
We cannot go this long next week.
Yeah. We'll cut it down for sure. But anyways, that'll do it for another edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Been a good time, y'all. Jarrett, you got the doodad ready? I forget what it's called.
Dale call.
The doodad Dale call. Go for it.
The Dale doodad.
Go ahead. Cut out again.
Glorious.
Goodbye.